The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
A victory Monday for the first time since week 2. The Jets won a game on a Sunday, which means it's a victory Monday with Joe Benigno. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man.
This is the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We had Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go on a Monday. I thought we'd have plenty of victory Mondays of the season, and every time the Jets would win, we'd do a merch sale. But hey, it's better late than never. So right now, if you go to jakeasman.com for the next 24 hours and use promo code JETSWIN, all items in the store are 15% off just in time for the holiday season. That's promo code JETSWIN at jakeasman.com slash shop. Joining us right now in his weekly spot is a pumped up, a fired up Joe Benigno. Joe, happy Victory Monday to you.
How you doing, bro? I'm wearing the Aaron Rodgers jersey today, okay? All right, I'm going to tell all my fellow Jet fans this, all right? You tell me, okay, where we are getting better quarterback play next year than from this guy, okay? This guy is showing you that he's still got a lot of gas in the tank, even running. I think he was the leading rusher yesterday for like 45 yards or whatever it was.
He was.
And even one of the biggest plays of the game, that pass down the sideline to Adams that set up what turned out to be the game-winning touchdown, whether they should have done it like that or not, doesn't matter. They won. He got away from the pressure to make a big play to a wide-open Adams down the sideline. All right? This guy is not the reason that this team is 4-10, okay? We could start with Woody firing the coach too soon. We could talk about the kicking game. We could talk about our absolutely disgraceful defense that couldn't be worse than it is. The bottom line on this team is this team has an offense that has a lot of big-time players on it. And I am one to say, you tell me, who's going to be a better quarterback for us next year? Tyrod Taylor? Justin Fields? Right? Some rookie? Are you kidding me? I can't take it anymore, bro. I don't want to rebuild next year, okay? I want to win next year. And you can't tell me that if we bring the right coach in here, and I'm very concerned about what he's doing already. He's interviewing GMs, and I can see the direction this is going, and I think it's going to be a disaster. Okay, all right. I think we're going to wind up with another first-time coordinator who's going to want to come in here and show you how freaking smart he is and try to blow it up. And that's not what this team is right now.
They haven't even started. They haven't even interviewed anyone yet. There's just two guys that are not in football.
I'm telling you, man, I can see it coming, okay? And all right? You know this, and I want to make sure I'm going to tell everybody this, okay? If Rodgers is let go, he's still got a lot of gas in it. He's not retiring. I don't care what he tries to. There's no way he's walking away when he can still play at the level he's playing at, okay? Let's be honest about it. I know Jacksonville stinks, but let's be real. We should have won the Miami game. He played great in that game, too. He's played pretty much. Here's the bottom line, okay? The guy's thrown 23 freaking touchdown passes to, I think, either 8 or 9 interceptions.
8 interceptions, correct.
They haven't turned it over 2 weeks in a row. They haven't been a turn. The last pick he threw was the Leonard Williams disaster. And even in that game, if the defense was any good, we still would have won that game. We had the lead late in that game until that idiot Solomon Thomas or whoever it was, Kinlaw, decides to pull the guy down with a horse collar tackle on 4th down. It would have got us off the field, still with a lead in the game late in the 4th quarter. So, and if they let Rodgers go, he's going to go somewhere next year, write it down, and he's going to have a monster year. And all these guys, okay, all these guys who are trying, all the writers who want to run him out of town, okay, they all want to run him out of town, all these guys, and I'm not going to mention the names, but you know who they are, all right? Then when he is playing great for whoever it is next year, they're going to say, well, you see, the Jets they shouldn't have let him go. They're going to give you that crap. I'm very concerned. I want to win next year, bro. I can't take any more massive rebuilds. I can't take it. We can't take that anymore. We got players on this team. You tell me, Devontae Adams, who's on his way to the Hall of Fame, I mean, could you have a better game than this guy had yesterday? How about the catch he made on the sidelines on the third and 10 play on the game-winning touchdown drive, which is one of the best catches you're ever going to see, right? You know, I mean, just an acrobatic catch on the sideline, kept his feet in. I mean, Devontae Adams played yesterday as good a game as you can play. And
it was all in the second half, by the way, too. He had no catches, no yards.
Half. Right. He did have a drop. And here's the other thing, too, with Rodgers. And before we even he did drop a pass in the first half, Adams. I didn't notice, but I'm not surprised by it. You heard them yesterday, Chris Myers and who did the game? Slareth, okay? You heard Myers say, the Jets lead the NFL. Think about this, in drop passes. They had 28 drop passes coming into the game. They had 3 more yesterday. Adams dropped one. Reichert, what's his name?
Jerry Ruckert. Yep.
He stinks. He dropped another one. Lazard on what could have been the killer play of the game. Rodgers throws with the guy right on him, puts the ball right in freaking Lazard's hands on like the 4-yard line, and instead of securing the ball, he lets the defensive back knock it out of his hands. So that's 3 more drops yesterday, okay? 31 drops on the year for this quarterback. I'm telling you, man, you want this guy back. This guy, he hasn't been dealt a good hand in 2 years here. He gets hurt 4 plays into it the first year, and this year he's had everything, starting with the firing of the head coach, which was a mistake, even though we weren't against it at the time. You know, that was the biggest mistake Woody could have made at that point. He should have left Sal alone. This team might have 4 more wins than they have now. Let's be real. And if you got 4 more wins, you're talking about an 8-win team right now. We're talking about a whole different scenario. I want Rodgers back, bro. We got Adams. We got Wilson. We got 3 big-time running backs. We got Breece Hall. We got Davis. We got Allen. We got 3 big studs on the offensive line, young guys. Fassanu, Tipman, and Vera Tucker, okay? And we could use a tight end. You know, I'd even keep Lazard, even though he drops a ton of passes. I'd even keep Lazard as the 3rd receiver because he's got a connection with Rodgers. There's talent on this offense. This offense is good. Now, the defense needs a lot of work. There's a lot of overrated players on the defense. I don't like the scheme they play. They blitzed once all day yesterday, and they actually got to Jones. They forced him on a 3rd down play to rush the pass, and they wound up having to kick a field goal. I think they were in the red zone when that happened. They never blitzed. He had all day to throw again yesterday. They might have sacked him a couple times. You know, I'm tired of Quinnen Williams, you can't be more overrated than him. I'm tired of Sauce Gardner, who I know he got the pick at the end. I could have made that interception. Hallelujah. He got an interception for the first time in 2 years. He also had a killer defensive holding penalty in the end zone that wiped out a sack of Jones that would have held them to a field goal, and they scored a touchdown out of that. He also had a pass interference call. I am sick and tired of watching this shitty defense. Penalty after they had 2 more personal fouls yesterday. First series of the game again. I think it was Thomas had a freaking personal foul on him. I mean, well, are you kidding? Or maybe either one. Kinlaw, they all stink. Kinlaw, Thomas, Clemens, they all stink. I'm tired of this overrated defense. They stink, this defense. It's a miracle that they held on yesterday only because Mac Jones stinks. And by the way, how good was it sticking it up his ass? How about that? We've never beat him before, right? All the time in New England. And this guy's dancing around, right? When Jacksonville was leading the game, Jones is dancing around like he's winning the Super Bowl. So I was thrilled to see him get it up his rear end. I'm telling you, bro, I can't take another rebuild. And I do not want even Aaron Glenn. I do not want a first-time coordinator here. And I'm worried that Woody's going to screw it up again, and they're going to bring some first-time guy in here who's going to want to show you how smart he is, and we're going to break it down and start from scratch. Bullshit. I can't take another goddamn losing year. I can't take another rebuild anymore. You tell me, Will, how many quarterbacks in this league right now, let's be real, are really better than Rodgers? How many? All right? Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Those three immediately come to my mind. There's probably a few others. You can't tell me right now that Rodgers is in the top 10 of quarterbacks in the NFL. You can't tell me that.
All right, so here's the thing, because I want to make it clear. I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy. I want Rodgers in my perfect world. I would love Rodgers to be back. But to me, there are a couple things that have to happen for this to even be the reality. One, the GM and coach have to want him back. It can't just be Woody forcing them to keep a quarterback they don't want. You got to let them evaluate everything and decide if Rodgers wants to be back. The second thing, Joe, they got to hire a real offensive coordinator and run a modern NFL scheme. It can't be what Rodgers wants, what Hackett, in that offense. You can't. I mean, so much of what they've been able to do offensively is just the greatness of Rodgers and Devontae, but they need a real offensive scheme. Well, so that'd be the second thing.
Here's the big problem. The running game is not any good. The offensive line has gotten a lot better with the pass blocking.
They have a real O-line. They do. 4 of their 5 starters are back.
But they got to run better. The running game has not been good all year. Brees Hall, he's put some numbers up, but he hasn't had a very good year. Let's be honest about it. Okay? They don't run the ball well enough. That's a problem. Okay? They need to. This running game has got to get better. There's no doubt about it. But I'm telling you right now, that's why, to me, I'm really zeroing in now on Mike Vrabel.
Yes. Right? I've been telling you this for weeks. He's the guy.
Okay. I love Rex, and Rex would want Rodgers back. There's no question. I love Rex. About Floor, how I feel about him, Gruden. The guy is Vrabel. Okay, he's the guy. And you can't tell me that Mike Vrabel comes here that he doesn't want Rodgers as quarterback.
I agree. I agree.
But want to win right away.
Here's the other thing, though, Joe. You could bring Rodgers back as basically the bridge, but you still have to be looking to draft a quarterback. I'm on board with that idea.
No, you're 100% right. They got to get a young quarterback in here.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. But for another year, this guy still can play at a very high level. And the last thing I want to see is him go somewhere else and turn into what Brett Favre was, and he's leading his team to the NFC Championship game or whatever. Okay? I don't want to see that. That's why Woody cannot screw it up. You got to bring a veteran head coach in here. You cannot bring some first-time freaking coordinator in here that's going to try to show you how smart he is, and we're going to be in a rebuild again. We got too many good players on this team, young players, and I'm not ready to ditch it and start again. I can't take it anymore. It's 14 years without a playoff appearance. It's 9 years without a winning season. This team, Rodgers has been dealt a bad hand here. You say whatever you want, okay? He's been dealt a bad hand. They want to put it all on him. That's complete BS, all right? Like I said, the defense is terrible. This defense stinks, okay? Let's be honest about it. The kicking game has hurt him more. Even yesterday, Carlson, I wouldn't have went for a field goal. There was 4th and 4. I would have went for it. But, Carlson, that was right after that drop by Lazard. Carlson missed a very makeable field. It was 48 yards, whatever it was. So you can't trust the kicker. And that's another reason I think they scored the touchdown at the end, because even though they were on the 1-yard line, they don't trust the kicking game.
Which, by the way, is still such a bad job and just exemplifies how bad the coaching is. They could have bled the clock down to 20 seconds with Jacksonville having no timeouts for a 25-yard field goal. And Obrick blew that. And his explanation after the game, we wanted to put the nail in the coffin. You actually opened the coffin. You're like the Undertaker coming out of the coffin.
Right.
That's what that was.
And I'll tell you right now, if Jacksonville would have scored a touchdown, they would have went to win the game with a 2-point conversion, similar to what the Saints did yesterday.
Definitely.
But thankfully, Mac Jones turned back into Mac Jones. But, look, to me, I'm tired of losing, and I cannot take another freaking rebuild. There's too many good young players on this team, especially on the offense, and you bring the right guy in here with the right defensive coordinator, and he could straighten out this defense. This defense needs to blitz. They need to play man-to-man coverage in the secondary. I've had it with DJ Reed. He didn't play again yesterday. He's gone. He's a free agent at the end of the year. See, he stinks too. And maybe with the right coach in here, you can get Sauce Gardner to play at the level he needs to play at again. All right?
Look, Joe, I don't think any Jet fan should be laughing at the notion of bringing Aaron back. The pushback is going to be the future dead cap ramifications of keeping him for another year, the fact that he's now 41 going on 42, and this is a guy now for 3 years in a row has played through some serious injuries. His last year in Green Bay, he was banged up. He lasted 4 plays, as we all know, last year.
Barring some incredible something going down in the last 3 games, guy's going to play 17 games this year.
He is, but let's be real. A real head coach, I think, would have probably went to Tyrod Taylor in that London game and let Aaron Rodgers get healthy, because there's no doubt he has been healthier these last several games, and we're seeing that. The concern is he's probably going to be banged up again and playing through stuff next year, which is why if you bring him back, yes, you're trying to win next year. You could be competitive, try and make the playoffs if Vrabel's your coach or Brian Flores is your coach. But if there's a quarterback you like in round 1 or on day 2, you still take that guy. So Rodgers is playing the role of the bridge quarterback next year.
No question. Now, look, I'm not saying Rodgers is here for 5 more years.
He's probably only here for 1 more year, for being real.
Right, but you hit it right on the head. Let him be the bridge quarterback to the young guy, whoever that guy may be. Even if you bring a guy like, let's say, Justin Fields in here, let him sit a year behind Rodgers. Let him sit. He's still young. He's got a lot of time yet. You know how these quarterbacks develop late anyway. Look at Darnold. Look at Geno Smith. I mean, we could go on and on with these young guys that develop later on. So, I'm not suggesting Rodgers is here for another bunch of years. They got to develop a young quarterback. But let me take one more shot with this guy, because we got some plays here.
I agree. Now, let me ask you this.
And I'm not ready to lose again next year. I mean, I've had it. I can't take another rebuild, bro. I can't take it.
I agree. I think it's a simple question, right? What's the Jets' record of Mike Vrabel as their head coach this year? I can tell you they're not 4-10. And look, has Rodgers been great? No. But has he been, for the most part, I'd say average to probably above average? I think that's fair when you consider how bad the coaching's been. The kicking game at the beginning of the year cost them anywhere from 2 to 3 games. And the defense being horrific. If you just give them the wins against New England, the Colts game and the Miami game, there's 3 more wins right there. They're in the hunt, despite how bad everything has been around this quarterback. He's played well enough to certainly have more than 4 wins. That's been obvious.
Yep. No question about it. This team at minimum should be 500 right now, minimum. And I'm being conservative saying that, because they should have won the Denver game. Could Zerline make a kick? They should have won the Buffalo game. Yep. He missed 2 very makeable field goals in that game, Zerline. And even the Seattle game. All right. I know everybody wants to kill him for the pass to Wilson, the interception. Oh, let's dump on Rodgers. But this team had the lead in the 4th quarter with 4 minutes to go, and the defense continued to, make penalty after penalty on 4th down. You had that situation when the coach didn't know the punter was hurt and all of that, and they wind up with 12 men on the field. I mean, it's unbelievable. So you can kill this quarterback all you want. I haven't seen quarterback play like this for the Jets in at least 10 years, at least since the year that Fitzpatrick had. I mean, so the idea that this guy can't play anymore, he's playing next year. And
I agree. I just want to see what it looks like now over these last 3, because he clearly played well yesterday. He was very good against Miami, but the Jaguars defense is 32nd in the league. They stink. If he plays well over these last 3, I'm with you, because I think this team could do what the Chargers are doing this year with real coaching. They're in the playoffs next year if Rodgers is competent and this defense is fixed to what it should be. Yeah.
And look, they got 3 games that are, the Ram game is a big game for the Rams. So they're going into this game. The Rams are tied for first place in the NFC West. It's a big game for the Rams, okay? And there's I'm very, in fact, I might even go Sunday. I'm talking about with my buddy.
Wow.
I'm thinking about it. I want to go to one more game. I really do. I want to wear my Rodgers jersey. I want to go support my team, even though it's been another lost year, okay? But it's a meaningful game for the Rams. So I want to see them go in there and, now I'm worried. Look, you got to believe the defense is going to give it up to,
they're going to need to score 30 points if they're going to win on Sunday.
Right. They're going to have to put points on the board if they're going to win the game, because, the Rams are going to score points. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But let's see. But even if they lose, let's see what Rodgers does. Let's see if he has another big game throwing the football around. And then they play Buffalo in a game that Buffalo is going to need, because Buffalo right now is 2 games behind the Chiefs for the number 1 seed. And Patrick Mahomes just went out yesterday. He got hurt. He's not playing this week. There's no way I'm playing Mahomes if I'm the Chiefs this week. You got a 2-game lead for home field advantage at 13-1. But that's a game Buffalo wants, because they want that home field. And it's still, even with 3 games left, even though they're 2 games behind, they do have the tiebreaker. But who knows now with the injury to Kansas City? I mean, with the injury to Mahomes. And then you finish with the Dolphins. And even though the Dolphins, and nice job by Houston sticking it up their ass yesterday, by the way. And you know, even if Miami doesn't need the game, I want to beat the Dolphins. I'm tired of losing to them. We should have beat them in Miami, you know? So I'm tired of losing to them. So you're right. Let me see what these last 3 games. This guy has a chance to throw 30 touchdown passes this year. Think about that.
He does. And he has a chance to go over 4,000 yards as well.
Right.
He's having one of the better statistical seasons this franchise has ever had. That's a fact.
Right. That's 100%. If he throws 4 touchdown passes the rest of the year, he will throw more than Joe Namath ever threw in one season in his career. The most Joe Namath ever threw was 26 in 1967. And by the way, he threw 28 interceptions that year too. Just to throw that in there, all right? That's the most Joe Namath ever threw, 26. Vinny Testaverde threw 29 in 1998. Fitzpatrick had the 31 in 2015. I mean, you know, come on. So I'll say it again. You tell me who's going to give us better quarterback play than him next year, and I'm telling you right now, you know, if he goes, he's going to have a big year with somebody next year. You know, you can take it to the freaking bank that's going to be the case.
Yep. I mean, obviously Namath did it in a different era, 14-game season,
Right.
all that.
There's only 14 games.
You know, well, Rodgers, obviously not what he once was. So any Jet fan is like, well, he's not the MVP of the league. He's not a top 5 guy anymore. That's true. But to your point, where are you getting another quarterback? And I'll also say this. If you bring Aaron back next year, you get Devontae back. If you don't bring Aaron back, I don't know if Devontae would be here with a different quarterback.
I want Devontae back. What's Devontae's numbers with the Jets, right? What is his numbers with
They've
him?
been really good. Really
phenomenal. He's had back-to-back weeks over 100 yards, almost 200 in this game yesterday. I mean, he came close. He had 198 yards receiving, 2 more touchdown passes. You know, he caught one last week as well. He's got like 6. I think he has 6 touchdown catches with the Jets in how many games? Something like that.
You need him because if you look at this depth chart, you have Garrett Wilson.
Right.
Allen Lazard's probably going to be cut because his number's really high and you could save money there. How about Malachi Corley not even being able to get on the field?
Because
and the Jets were telling everyone he was their 4th-rated wide receiver. That means Brian Thomas Jr. they didn't think was as good as Malachi Corley. He was the best player on the field for the Jaguars yesterday. Just another example of this regime not getting it.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I'm worried about the owner. I'm worried he's going to make a mistake with the coach. I'm telling you, man, to me,
that's just you being worried, though. That can't be based on anything to this point. They haven't interviewed anyone yet.
No, but because it's Woody, and I'm waiting for another mistake. I'm waiting for him to bring some stupid first-time coordinator in here. I don't want that guy. I know. I want a guy that wants to win now. I want a head coach that wants to win now. Mike Vrabel comes here. He wants to win now. Mike Vrabel ain't waiting, look at the rebuild. He's going to come in here wanting to win immediately.
Same with Flores, same with Gruden, same with Rex.
Yeah. Right. That's right.
Now,
and their best chance to win immediately next year is Rodgers. Do you have to get a young quarterback in here? Of course. Of course you do. But I want to take one more shot, man. We brought this guy in here with all the hoopla and all this, and things have, Jet karma has conspired against him to make things be the way they've been. Okay? To me, I don't, the injury last year, just the way things have gone down this year and all the mistakes that Woody, like I said, firing the coach, the kicker, the defense, all of that. So I want one more year with this guy, hopefully with everything right, with a real head coach in here, straighten out this shitty defense, okay? Because defense stinks. Michael Clemens stinks. Kinlaw stinks.
Hassan Reddick. Oh, my God, is he terrible?
Who?
Reddick.
Oh, Reddick. Oh, my God. What a way he's gone. I mean, who's going to pay him big money? You tell me. Who's paying Hassan Reddick big money? Oh, my God, does he stink. Please, give me a freaking break.
Some stats for you here, Joe, that will back your argument on bringing Rodgers back. This is from Nathan Marzian. Aaron Rodgers' last 7 games, 13 touchdowns, 1 interception, 100.4 rating. Jets averaged 22.4 points per game. Jets had the lead with under a minute to go in 5 of the 7 games.
Wow.
Jets have a 2-5 record in these 7 games. So for anyone think it's nuts to bring Rodgers back, I don't think you're nuts at all, Joe. I want to see a little more here down the stretch, but they don't have to make this decision now. But the idea this team would not be significantly better if they were better coached, I'm not buying it. This team is the worst coached football team in the league. They were poorly coached with Saleh. They do not have a coach with Jeff Ulrich.
Right. They don't have a coach. And and he's playing at this level even without a freaking head coach. Let's be honest about it. And something, we'll switch gears to this in a minute because I also want to get, before we get off, I want to get to the sack exchange 30 for 30.
Did you watch it?
Of course.
Okay.
And the hit job they did on Mark Gastineau. Okay.
I watched it yesterday, so I'm curious your thoughts.
Okay. It was a hit job on Mark Gastineau. And Marty Lyons, taking a shot at Gastineau for what he said when Brett Favre, when he went up to Favre like a year ago. We didn't even know about this. This happened a year ago.
Yeah.
And Lyons made a big deal about it. But whatever. I want to hold off on that for a second, but I had to bring it up.
All right. And I wanted to bring this up to you, Joe. The report surfaced over the weekend that Bill Belichick expressed interest in the Jets head coaching vacancy. What was your reaction to that?
Stick it up your ass, Bill. Okay?
Yes.
Stick it up your ass. You know what? You left us 25 years ago. You didn't want to coach the team, right? The HC of the NYJ, whatever the hell it was. You couldn't wait to go to Kraft in New England. What, now because you want to is this what it is? You want to stick it to Kraft because he basically fired you? So now you want to make nice with the Jets after you basically have destroyed them?
He destroyed them this year too. On TV, every appearance he's destroying the Jets.
Right. So now I want, he was ripping him for firing Salah. He's ripping Woody. He doesn't like Woody on and on. Fuck you. I'm sorry, bro. I had to say that. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about Belichick. Go coach North Carolina. Go with your girlfriend who's probably taking classes at Chapel Hill, and go coach North Carolina. See if you can get North Carolina football into the playoffs in college football. Please.
I completely agree.
No part of Bill Belichick. Absolutely not.
And also, if I was Woody Johnson, here's what I would have done, because I'm really petty, Joe. I would have hired him and then fired him after 24 hours. And that would be sweet revenge.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. That's lower than low.
Or string him along that he has a chance to get the job, so then he'd lose out on the opportunity with North Carolina. That's how petty I'd be.
I'm locked into Mike Vrabel now. I really want him. Bring him in.
And look, Mike Vrabel has reportedly expressed interest in the job. So if he's interested, that's the guy, Joe. He won in 6 years. He won 9 or more games
without a quarterback.
He won 2 division titles, went to an AFC championship game, all with Ryan Tannehill as his guy. They were the 1 seed a different year. That's the guy. If you want to win next year, Mike Vrabel gives you a chance to do that. And he's going to hire a good staff. And you trust him to hire the right OC because he's hired 2 different OCs that then became head coaches. That's the guy if the Jets are serious about getting this right.
Vrabel's the guy. I'm locked in now. Look, would I love to see Rex here? Of course. I don't think that's happening. I think Vrabel's the guy. And the fact that he has showed interest in the job just makes me want him all the more, because I want somebody that wants to be here. I really do.
If you're watching this live right now, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Joe B joining us live as he does every Monday after every Jet game. Joe's podcast, the Oh the Pain podcast, available where you get your podcast, and of course on YouTube as well. So make sure you guys check that out. Before we get to some super chats, some questions for you, Joe, you brought it up, the Sack Exchange doc. I watched it yesterday. Give us your thoughts after sitting down and watching it.
I was really disappointed because, Mark Gastineau, who should be in the Hall of Fame, and the reason he's not in the Hall of Fame to me is because he has not gotten the backing of Joe Klecko and Marty Lyons. I think those 2 guys really need to come out. And Joe wasn't too bad. I think Joe's all right with Mark. But Marty Lyons taking shots at him like he was, I was very disappointed in that. I was very disappointed in Marty Lyons. I really was. Look, Gastineau is one of the premier pass rushers of all time. He was an innovative player. I believe he was all-pro 4 times. Klecko was only 2. Joe Klecko, as great as he is, and I love Joe, okay, should have been in the Hall of Fame long ago, is not the player he was without Mark Gastineau. You look at that defensive line, the Sack Exchange is still synonymous with great defensive lines. And, just like Deacon Jones wouldn't have been as good without Merlin Olsen, or, Carl Eller wouldn't have been as good without Alan Page, or, Joe Green wouldn't have been as good without L.C. Greenwood. Joe Klecko would not have been as good without Mark Gastineau. And the idea that Gastineau couldn't play the run is nonsense. This guy could go sideline to sideline as good as anybody that there ever was playing defensive end. And I know they want to kill him he was a selfish player. He was this, he was that. The guy invented the sack dance. Invented it. Everybody sack dances now. Now you got these guys, they get a turnover when they're down by 3 touchdowns and they're running in the end zone, doing the lambada. So it's a joke. Gastineau belongs in the Hall of Fame. I thought they did a terrible job 30 for 30. I was very disappointed with Marty Lyons. I really, really was. I want to see Gastineau get into the freaking Hall of Fame. And I will say this, full disclosure, I talked to Mark. I actually spoke to him a couple times on Saturday about this. So I'll let everybody know that. Gastineau should be in the hall, and Joe Klecko's not in the hall without him. And I'm very disappointed in Marty Lyons. And that whole thing with Brett Favre, that happened like a year ago. Why didn't we see it until now? You know why? Because they unveiled it just for this 30 for 30 special.
Correct.
And I didn't see where he did anything wrong. He went to Brett and said, "You're healthy, Brett."
Now, did you see what Brett said publicly about that? He came out, basically apologized to Gastineau, said he belongs in the Hall of Fame, meant, didn't mean to cause him any harm with that whole thing. So, maybe something like this and the attention it's now bringing to Gastineau would help his candidacy for the Hall of Fame.
Well, you got somebody like Brett Favre, and you know what? I had my issues when Brett Favre was a Jet. He didn't ever wanted to be here. He played hurt at the end of the year. He cost us a playoff spot, and then he goes to Minnesota, and he's in the NFC Championship game. But, whatever. But I've warmed up to Favre for a number of reasons. And give him credit. I mean, if Brett Favre says he should be in the Hall of Fame, well, you know what? He should. I mean, give me a break. How many times this guy have over 20 sacks? I think 107 sacks in his career. He had over 20 sacks at least twice, maybe 3 times. He held the record for a few decades, right? From 1984 until 2001. So that's, how many years is that? 17 years that he held that record for most sacks in a season. I mean, come on. Him and Klecko are the only teammates ever to have 20 sacks in the same year in 1981. So, Gastineau belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's gotten a bad rap, and I really believe that, Marty Lyons and Joe Klecko need to go to bat for this guy, that he's a Hall of Famer. And I think that's a big reason that he's not in, to be honest.
I think the doc, when they talked about, though, how he was a selfish teammate at times, they covered him crossing the picket line, quitting on the team. These are all things that are going to be used against his candidacy to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't the only. Lawrence Taylor crossed the picket line, too. Nobody kills him for that.
But you can't compare Lawrence Taylor as a player to Gastineau.
Look, you know what? As a pass rusher for a good 3. Now, I'm not saying, look, Lawrence Taylor's the greatest defensive player that ever lived. But with that said, for a 3 or 4 year period, Gastineau was every bit as good as Taylor rushing the quarterback. Let's be honest about it. Lawrence Taylor never had 22 sacks in a season, as great as he was. And I'm not, again, Lawrence is the best that ever did it. But, let's be honest about it here. So, and he crossed the picket line too, and nobody ripped him when he did. You go back to that game against, I'll never forget the game. They played the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Taylor was playing, he was playing everything. He was playing tight end on offense. I'll never forget that game in 1987. You weren't even born yet.
No.
I had to endure 2 strikes in 1982 and 1987 with the NFL. Very difficult to do. But, so nobody kills Lawrence Taylor for crossing the picket line, and everybody kills Mark Gastineau for doing it. Give me a break,
I should have had you in the doc, Joe. I was looking for you to make a cameo.
There's a reason. ESPN's not putting me on,
They put Greenberg in your place.
ESPN, if it was done by, SNY or something like that, maybe. But, they're not putting me in there.
Comments, questions, super chats for Joe. Fiore starts us off and writes, Rodgers got hurt in week 4/5 because the line with Tyron Smith wasn't good. Since Olu and Rodgers now healthy, he looks good. Need better coaching to get the running game going, but Rodgers absolutely should be back. I mean, that's one thing, Joe. Olu Fashanu, just watching some of the film on him this morning that I saw, he's legit. They have themselves a long-term answer at left tackle for the first time since the Bricker show. I've seen enough. He looks really good.
And it's not only him. Tippmann, who got a bad penalty yesterday when they were going to go for it on 4th and 4, they called him for a false start, which I thought was a terrible call.
It was.
But you got Tippmann at center. You got Vera Tucker at guard. So you got 3 young guys. 3 young.
Simpson's only 27 too, and he's played well. John Simpson, the left guard.
Right. I'd even bring Morgan Moses back for another year.
Yeah, why not? Why not have some continuity up front for once?
No question. They got to run block better, and I think part of that's Brees. Sometimes I watch Brees and he cuts. He's got a hole here and he's cutting away from the hole right into the defense.
I think it's coaching too. Keith Carter's a bad O-line coach. They have a bad scheme. This is what I mean. If you're going to bring Rodgers back, if you have better coaching and you have a real running game, you're not asking him to be the MVP next year. He could be a game manager, bridge quarterback, and you could be competitive next year and try and fight for a playoff spot.
No question about it. 100%, bro. 100%.
Jack with a super chat. He writes, and I got to ask Joe what he thinks of Jet fans wearing other teams' merch. My brother Sam has been wearing Packers gear all season.
That's insanity.
I agree.
Packers gear. How is he a Jet fan if he's wearing Packers? He's Packers
Fraud.
stuff.
Fraud.
You're a fraud. That's right. Was he wearing Rodgers Packer jerseys? Was he wearing Devontae Adams Green Bay? Well, I mean, what are you doing? That's bullshit, man.
Do I get you the Devontae jersey, Joe, if they keep him?
I would. Oh yeah, sure.
You get it? All right. Yeah, you're rocking the Rodgers jersey.
I'm rocking it because of the fact that I want to see Rodgers back.
They haven't won a game on Sunday since week 2, and then you and I did the podcast together after the home opener. And there's been what now? 2 wins since that podcast taping.
Right.
Unreal.
Yeah. But I would. Devontae Adams, of course, I would definitely get his jersey. Devontae Adams, a Hall of Fame. I mean, the guys. What does he want to? What is he, the 10th guy ever to have 100 touchdown catches in a career?
Yep.
That's a pretty short list. And like I said, I think they're only one behind. Was it 82 between him and Rodgers? 80, 81, 82. They're only one behind Marino and Mark Clayton for third all time behind Peyton and Marvin Harrison and Steve Young and Jerry Rice. So, that's pretty good company there.
I'm going to skip ahead because we know this guy well, so I want to make sure we get a super chat read. Ernie Acosta in the house. Joe's former producer with Evan on the Fan. I really want this team to end the season on a high note. They can't blow this roster up. I mean, Ernie brings up a good point.
You, Ernie. I love you, and I'm 100% with Ernie on this. 100%.
Well, because there's so many Jet fans, Joe. Talk to the Jet fans who are upset they won a game because it impacts the draft position.
Oh, stop. Stop it there. When are these people going to wake up about the freaking draft? It's not where you pick, it's who you pick. Everybody was delirious 4 years ago when we won 2 games and we wound up not getting Trevor Lawrence. Well, how has that worked out now in Jacksonville? Lawrence is out for the year. What have they done there? What have they done? And they even got a coach that's won a Super Bowl in Doug Peterson. What the hell have the Jaguars done? They've done nothing. So I don't, that's nonsense. It's who you pick. Who you pick, not where you pick.
Also,
everybody went nuts on Sam Darnold. Oh, we got to suck for Sam. Well, they still wound up getting him. And even though he's playing good now in Minnesota, how did that work out with the Jets? Then they should probably never have let him go in the first place. It was on Joe Douglas. But, it's not where you pick, it's who you pick, okay? And, you got to get the guy right, okay? Lamar Jackson was the last pick in the first round, okay? Josh Allen was not the number 1 pick in the draft. So by
the way, Lamar is kind of the blueprint I think the Jets should follow. They traded back into round 1 to take him when they still had Flacco. The Jets could try and do the same thing, keep Rodgers for another year,
of course,
and get the 5th-year option on a quarterback in round 1. You trade back in late 1 and get a guy to sit behind Rodgers for a year.
No question. 100%.
That's what I would do. Yep.
Yep.
Drew writes in, he says, would love to see Garrett, Devontae, and Aaron have a full offseason together and build chemistry. Draft a quarterback early and don't let him touch the field year 1. I agree, Drew. And also, maybe there's something to be said about, look, I know Rodgers is obviously old, but another year removed from the Achilles. Like, we're seeing Kirk Cousins struggle this year, and he's a lot younger than Rodgers coming back from. Maybe he would be healthier in a sense if he's more comfortable, a full season removed from that injury.
Rodgers is better than Kirk Cousins. Okay, let's start to line up the quarterbacks that are better than Rodgers. You're probably 6 or 7 guys, okay? He's still in the top 10 of quarterbacks. Let's be honest. I mean, some of the throws he made, this guy makes every throw. I mean, come on.
When he has time and he trusts the O-line and he's healthy, he still can throw as good as anyone. We've seen that.
No question about it. That throw he made and when's the last time we saw a 70-yard touchdown bomb? When was that? I mean, I
can tell you. I looked it up. You want to hear? Your memory is so good, you might remember it. I'll tell you who the quarterback was. It was Sam Darnold. But let's see if you remember.
Oh, I know I know exactly. Against the Cowboys.
Yes, Robbie Anderson.
What the hell is that? I forget his name now. The receiver that we
Robbie Anderson.
Right.
Or Robbie Chosen, I think is his name now.
Right. Against Dallas in that upset we had at the Cowboys.
Yep.
Tyrone
writes in, this is a win now with Rodgers. They need to reload. Good team. Get a good coach. Let's go 2025. Don't trust the media. Go Jets 2025. Yep. Mike Vrabel, Brian Flores, they're going to be – why can't they do what Denver's done this year, what we're watching the Chargers do? Like, it's very similar. The Chargers – had all this talent and the worst coach. They fixed the coach with Harbaugh, and they're going to be a playoff team this year.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, they didn't look too good yesterday.
They should be.
The Bucks,
yeah.
By
the way, the Bucks OC is going to be probably a head coaching candidate. Liam Cohen is the guy.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and I don't want any part of him. But well, look, the Chargers right now, I think they're on the outside looking in. Denver is 9-5. You got what do you call it? Baltimore is at 9-5. And who else is in the playoff mix right now that I'm missing? Maybe they are. They might be the third team. They might be the third playoff team right now, the Chargers.
Yeah.
So I guess they're still in it. What are they, 8-6?
I could look it up for you. I mean, the AFC playoffs are kind of decided after Denver beat Indy yesterday. Like, they were the only other team that was kind of hanging around.
Yeah.
Like, the Dolphins are done now. I mean, you kind of have the AFC playoff situation set as far as the 7 teams go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't completely put the Chargers in yet. I'll say that.
Let's see. I'll look it up for you right now. The Chargers right now would be the 7th seed at 8-6. They got a 2-game lead in front of the Colts, who are 6-8, and Miami and Cincy all 6-8 as well.
Right. So they would be the 7th seed, you're saying?
Yeah. So they got a 2-game lead with 3 to go. So unless they lose out, they got a chance.
Yeah.
Robert says Ray Lucas will always be my favorite Jet quarterback.
Ray Lucas. Well, I'll say this about Ray Lucas, and I always ask this question. Why did Bill Parcells in that 1997 game when they could have made the playoffs against the Lions in the last game of the year, why did he put Ray Lucas in that game when he had never thrown a pass in the NFL? Lucas threw a major interception in that game, and we wound up losing it. We lost that game basically because Parcells hated Neil O'Donnell and was not going to let him let us win that game, okay? And then in 2000, when Vinny gets hurt week 1, right? Or in 1999, not 2000, 1999, when Vinny gets hurt week 1, why the hell does it take Parcells 5-6 weeks? He sticks with that absolute stiff Rick Meyer. We get off to a 1-6 start. Then he decides to put Ray back in there, and we wind up going 7-2 to end the year, but it's not enough to get us in the playoffs. So I like Ray Lucas. I like Ray. I know Ray. He's a hell of a nice guy. So but I always bothers me about Parcells. Why did he wait so long to go to Ray Lucas in 1999? Somebody's got to answer that for me.
Wild Wave says the bar is so low, it's not even funny. Another losing season isn't going to kill us. Get the right guys, clean the cap, look forward to 2026. So Wild Wave, anti-Rodgers.
No, another losing season is going to kill us, okay? Okay? Who is the right guy? You tell me who that guy is. You're going to bring some first-time coordinator. I'm tired of losing. Aren't you tired of losing? Haven't you had enough? You want to lose more? No. Bring the right coach in here. Get me Mike Vrabel. Keep this band together for another year. Draft a young quarterback, and let's go from there. No, I'm tired of losing. And you're going to love it when they let him go and we suck again next year and win 4 games, okay? Because you bring the wrong people in here, right? And you say, we'll let Tyrod Taylor be the quarterback. He'll be hurt by week 4. And we wind up winning four games next year again or whatever, right? And Rodgers is lighting it up, playing for, the Cleveland Browns or something like that. Give me a break. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Julio Spigucci. Hopefully I somewhat pronounced that accurately here. Wow, a win. I couldn't even remember the feeling. I mean, the fact that they haven't won a game on a Sunday since that Titans game in week 2 is unbelievable.
No, it was nice to win. It was good to win, and it was good to, see them win the way they did,
Were you in the man cave yesterday, Joe? What was the setup? Was Kenny over?
No, I was by myself. I actually was upstairs. I was upstairs with my wife in the living room watching the game.
Love it.
So, yeah.
Mark writes, Jake, I really hope that the young quarterbacks are already on the roster. I mean, look, I know Jordan Travis was a 5th-round pick. He's not even healthy yet. It's a new regime coming in. They didn't take him. I think anything you get from Jordan Travis is a bonus. He might not even be on the team at this time next year.
Yeah. I don't count on the quarterback, our next quarterback being on the team. Don't count on that.
Bang Mateo says, I don't want a jock head coach who's not an X's and O's type. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't understand. What does that mean? I don't get it. Does that mean you don't want Vrabel because he played? Is that why? I mean
the guy won.
What does that mean? Please.
I got a clip for you, Joe. This is why Vrabel's my guy for a lot of reasons, but this is an example on why he's the perfect fit for what this team needs.
Because it sucks to lose, Gentry.
Trey, ever need to show you anything?
Did you have another thought, or no? I'm just curious.
Well,
it fucking sucks. Losing. Awful. That's why I want to win. Because you don't sleep. You want to win for the players that bust their tail. That's it.
There you go.
He'd hold everyone accountable. Everyone accountable.
And there's no accountability on his team, especially the penalties have to stop. I mean, to me, the lack of discipline, especially by the defense, is off the charts. I mean, it's beyond the pale. It really is.
Purple Belt Mike says the only answer, Barf for Arch 2026. LFG, baby. He wants to tank for Arch Manning. I'm good.
Yeah, stop. Okay. Let's see how good Arch Manning turns out to be. He's probably better than Quinn Ewers, but you'll see him on Saturday when they play Clemson. By the way, how about the fact that we actually have 2 NFL games the same day that you got these college football playoffs going on? I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be watching the college games. I'm going to tell you right now.
So there's NFL games on Saturday when there's college football playoff games on?
2 games Saturday. Yep.
Didn't realize that.
Yep.
Philly Needle says Trevor Lawrence would have ended our 14-year playoff skid. Shake my head.
Would he have? I don't know. Would he? I mean, they made the playoffs 1 year in Jacksonville. Okay, big deal. What has he done since? They stink. What has he done? What's so good about him?
Now, the issue with Lawrence is I think he's probably like an average quarterback, maybe slightly above average, but now he's being paid like he's a top 10 guy, and that's the problem. You know,
supposedly, right? And this is the biggest crap. When I hear this term generational talent, I want to vomit. He was supposed to be a generational talent. Let me ask you, who's better, Baker Mayfield or Trevor Lawrence? Tell me who's better.
Baker Mayfield.
Of course. No question.
Ryed writes in, if he were to leave, where could you see Rodgers playing? That's my nightmare scenario, like Joe B. Can't see him ball out on another squad like Favre. I mean, could he go to the Niners? Like, are they sold on Brock Purdy? Could he go to the Vikings? Is obviously the answer everyone will bring up. I thought of another team yesterday.
Cleveland too. How about that?
Yep, you nailed it. Oh, why not the Browns? Right? He goes with Kevin Stefanski, who's a real offensive coach. Yeah. Deshaun Watson's hurt. Like they're a win-out team with that roster. Like he'd play well on the Browns. I have no doubt about that.
Yep. Now I want him back on our team. If he's going to be good next year, I want him being good with us.
I can see it. Yep. Doug writes in, how would you feel about best player available in the first round and taking a quarterback in the second round?
They need defensive help. The only look, unless there's a quarterback there in the first round and he knocks you over, and I don't know who that guy is. You know, I kind of like the guy from Penn State, but I don't know if I would take him in the first round. Drew Aller.
Yep.
The only offensive player I would want in the first round is Travis Hunter. If Travis Hunter was there, okay, he's a dynamic player. The Heisman Trophy winner from Colorado. You know, he plays defensive back too. Now he's not going to play 2 ways in the NFL, but if you got a dynamic player like Travis Hunter, I take him. Outside of that, you got to get me a stud defensive player in the first round.
Michael with a super chat. Some of us are getting too old to wait on another rebuild, but I just don't know any better.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, I'm 71 years old. I can't take it anymore. And I speak for a lot of guys. You know, I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of people telling me, and I get very aggravated with this too, bro. We haven't won in 56 years. Now, did I see Super Bowl III? Yeah, thank God, right? But I was 15. Why, I don't deserve to see them win again just because I saw them once? Well, I mean, all these people never saw them win. Well, you know what? I don't give a damn about that. I'm waiting 56 years to win again. You know what I've gone through watching this team for the last 56 years? Stick it up my ass over and over and over and over again? Come on, give me a break. That makes me nuts when I hear that.
Like, there's just no way you could have truly appreciated it in the moment as a 15-year-old would have meant. And the game, the NFL is so different now. Like, winning the Super Bowl now is a different feeling than you would have experienced in 1969.
Right. No, of course. I mean, and look, I mean, I expected to win all the time. I mean, in a 15-month span, I saw 3 of my teams win championships: the Jets, the Mets, and the Knicks.
Right.
And I thought, here we go. This is going to be great forever. No.
Hey, the Mets have Soto, though. You got that going for you, Joe.
Well, they do, but they got other work they got to do. I want Pete Alonso back. I want Sean Manaea back. Let's go. I want both of them signed.
I love it. Yer says, what if Vrabel wants to keep Todd Downing? Still on board. Downing has not been terrible. I don't
think the play calling has been horrible. I honestly, I don't think the play calling has been horrible at all. I just think the issue is the running game. They don't run well enough. I think the one thing they need to do is throw the ball. They never have a screen pass, this team. I think we need to throw the ball more to Hall out of the backfield. But I think overall the play calling has been okay. I don't think it's been bad.
I'm with you. All right, Joe. Final thoughts here. You are leading the charge of bringing Aaron Rodgers back in 2025.
And Devontae Adams. I know he's a big cap hit, Vontae Adams is a tremendous receiver. I mean, come on. That's one of the great games we've ever seen a Jet receiver have yesterday.
All in the second half. Crazy.
All in the second half. No question about it.
I'm with you, Joe. I want to see it over the last three, but I've always been a Rodgers guy, so I'd like to see this through with a real coach and a plan at quarterback behind him. They do that. I'm open to it. I'm not as dead set as you, but I'm open to it because you're right. You look around, where are they finding a better option at quarterback? That's the question you ask.
100%. Yep. And like I said, we got players on this offense. Now, the defense needs a lot of work. Defense has got to get straightened out because the defense is terrible. There's no other way to say it. They stink.
Yep. But, Joe, all the love. You're the best.
All of it, bro. God bless. Have a great week. And let's go, Jets.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Joe Benigno, who might be at the Jet-Rams game on Sunday. How about that? Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's 915 of you in here. I want to announce this on the afternoon show. We will be doing our raffle for our next giveaway. Perfect timing for this, huh? Maybe we got to give away more Rodgers jerseys if he's going to play that way down the stretch here. We'll be raffling off the throwback Rodgers jersey during the afternoon stream. It's going to be a mega raffle. I'm going to combine all the memberships we've gotten over the last couple shows. So that will be one of the prizes. The other prize will be the Super Bowl III photo right here. That will go to second place, third place, fourth place, and how about this? Fifth place, because we have so many entries, will be items from the jakeasman.com merch store. So we're going to do a mega raffle with Will Parkinson during the afternoon slate on the show. We're presented today by Huga House. Get yourself a Huga House hat, 15% off when you use promo code Asman at checkout. Get the hat that Aaron Rodgers is always rocking, that I'm wearing. Plenty of other Jet players. HugaHouse.com, promo code Asman at checkout for 15% off. Godfather of 2K with a super chat for us. He writes in, how do we feel about Allen's take on Sam Howell? I'm good on Sam Howell. I'm not even just basing that based off of him looking terrible last night. I'm good on Sam Howell. I don't think he's any good. So I'm fine without Sam Howell. Let's see. Also, if you want in on the raffle, we'll leave it open for the rest of the show. So every membership gifted here will go towards the raffle for this afternoon. Mother effing Chew is in for one raffle ticket right here. Thank you, Chew, for supporting the show. Appreciate that. This super chat here is from Tyreek, who says, what was the remedy Klarna for Travis for Rodgers? I don't know what this means. And there might be a typo here, Tyreek. Write it in, and if I see it, we'll bring it up on the screen, and we will address it. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Gusbuster Hotline is pinned if you want to join the conversation. I'm going to throw these stats up again here. And stats aren't everything. The eye test tells you more of what you need to know. But we can't deny that Rodgers has played well enough to be better than this team being 4-10. And we can't deny that Rodgers certainly has looked like a different quarterback these last two games especially. He's not what he once was, but I do think there's an argument with 3 games to go to keep him for next year. Now, things change. I'm not going to go goo gaga after one amazing performance against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I'll say this, too, for Rodgers. The fact that he wants to play and he's that excited and enthused at his age, running down the sideline after that touchdown, like, this guy loves football. Like, I think he's definitely playing next year, so I'm open to it. I am open to it. All right, let's get your calls now on the Gusbuster Hotline. Bill is first up today. Hey, Bill.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Bill. How are you?
Good, good. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Hope it's a very pleasant one for all. I got to watch the sack exchange video last night, and I thought it was well done and insightful. I got to see them play, and I thought Gastineau was one of the greatest athletes to play the game during his time. And while I know that the criticisms were there, that he doesn't play the run, he's always after the quarterback, he still had the kind of speed where he could run down even the best running backs of his time. Definitely, he came off being selfish in the series, or in the video rather. But considering the things that he went through in his childhood, I can understand him being the way he is. It was his way of dealing with it. But I also consider some other people who went through similar circumstances that came off even worse than he did as adults. You know, you think of Columbine as an example, where some young guys claimed that they were always being picked on, and they were so angry they decided to take it out using guns. And Gastineau instead simply took it out by sacking the crap out of the quarterbacks. So all things considered, I think he handled his situation as best as he could, and definitely handled it better than others did. Um, Lions, I can understand him being upset with Klecko the way they were, but the bottom line was when they were all there, they did hug each other, and they did care about each other. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and then about the game Sunday was Aaron was terrific. He was terrific. Perfect, no, but he was definitely terrific. Definitely think he should consider coming back. Definitely has to learn a new offense. But definitely he gives us the best chance to win next year.
Yeah. Look, Bill, here's the thing, though, right? It's the best chance to win, and it's also the cap ramifications. Now, I do wonder this. Depending on who the Jets hire as their coach, I could see Rodgers taking another pay cut to mitigate this dead cap scenario. He might not have other options to play next year besides the Jets. And if he wants to play specifically with Devontae, the best way to do it is where they're at right now. Because I want Devontae back either way. And you're more likely to be able to keep Devontae if Aaron's here. And maybe to facilitate Devontae being here, Aaron takes less. Devontae can get his. It lowers the dead cap. And then for a year, you have Rodgers with a quarterback you draft behind him. That's one scenario. The reality is a lot could change between now and the final 3 games of the year. Remember, Aaron Rodgers 2 weeks ago, I thought, did not play well at all against Seattle. I know the defense blew it late, but Rodgers has to be better. He was supposed to be healthy coming off the bye, and he moved around, but he still didn't play well in that game. Gary writes in, Jake needs to shut up about the cap. Who cares? You should only want to win. I will not shut up about the cap because this is not fantasy football. This is how NFL teams operate. You want to be able to pay Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, AVT, Olu Fashanu down the line, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald. You want to be able to keep these guys? Quincy Williams, Quinn, you want to be able to keep these guys? You're good players? I'm not going to shut up about the cap. What a dumb comment. It's part of the decision. More of your calls right now. The Hamburger's up next. What's up, Hamburger?
Well, Jake, I think you hit it right on. It's about the cap. If he's willing to let that cap, if he's willing to take a pay cut, I think it's a no-brainer that he's going to come back next year. And then again, that's if he wants to come back. But to me, he sure the hell's playing like he wants to come back. More and more at this point now, I want him. I mean, I care about the cap. If he's going to come back and we're going to get that cap hit at $63 million, whatever, I'm a little against that. Because I think we do. We need to pay Garrett. We need to pay those guys. But listen, man, he had a great game. He had a great 2 games. Let's see if he can do it the last 3 out. But if you were to ask me today, I would say, yeah, I want him back. As long as he takes a pay cut. As long as he takes a pay cut. And I think you would be on board with that too, even at this point. If he took a pay cut and made it a little easier on the cap hit for us, I think most of us would sign up for that. Because no matter what, he's the best bridge quarterback that there is out there. You can't tell me that anybody else would go get Winston. He had a great game yesterday. How many touchdowns did he throw? How many interceptions? So, for me, Aaron right now in my mind, I want him back. As long as he takes a pay cut. No, so Allen can shove it. He can shove it.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm happy he played well, but I'm also going to say it's the 32nd ranked defense, and let's see it now against a Rams team that's going to need the game.
Yeah,
let's see how it looks against the Bills, right? Let's see as the competition steps up.
Listen, the next 3 games are going to be really important for him. See how healthy he really is. See if he can evade good defenses. See if he can make quick decisions against a better defense. I mean, we did play the worst defense in the NFL yesterday, but still, he's got to have some confidence coming out of this game and being able to run and leading the team in rushing at 40-something yards. So I hope he does it, man. Listen, I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. I got his Aaron Rodgers shirt on. Did my hair like Aaron Rodgers today. So I'm all about it today, man. I'm pulling for the guy. I really
You got
am.
the Charles Gorman inspired jet tank top on right now.
Yes, I do. So, but listen, you guys have a great day. Enjoy the banter. I can't wait to watch the rest of the show. So enjoy, guys.
Hamburger, I appreciate it. Jay writes in, bridge quarterbacks don't count against the cap 50 million. He doesn't count against the cap 50 million. Next year, Rodgers cap hits 23 million. It's what happens after he's on the team next year. That is the cap ramifications. I think people need to understand a couple things here. There is a difference in what your cap hit is and what your dead cap hit is. Dead cap is for a player who's cut, released, or retired, and how that factors against your future salary cap. The cap hit is what you count against in regards to whatever the salary cap number is, like 270. I forget what it is. Has it reached over 300 million now? I don't know off the top of my head. The big fella in the house with a $10 super chat. By the way, every membership gifted goes towards the raffle. Any $20 super chat or more, you get 5 raffle tickets for every $20 super chat. My fear is that dirty POS, Milano, destroys Rodgers and puts the debate of him coming back to bed. I don't want him coming back, but I don't want him hurt. On another note, Sauce has played well lately. Yeah, he has. Sauce has responded to probably his lowest moments as a pro, the Cardinal game and then the Colt game, and he's looked good lately. Maybe we don't give up on 2-time first-team All-Pros. Just a thought. And here's the thing. This fan base blindly defends bad football players like Zach Wilson. Why don't we back Sauce Gardner, who's actually really good and wants to be here and talks about wanting to turn this around and change the culture and stick it out and see winning? Why don't we back those players for once instead of trying to defend bad football players like this fan base loves to do? Snake writes in, I'm for it. Give it another year. I'll run a poll right now. I am curious. Now, obviously, we could do this every week down the stretch, and we'll see. Also, hold on. I got some housekeeping I got to do. I'm so sick of this nonsense. 1 second here. Let me get it ready. It needs to be done. I see a comment here, and I've been seeing it throughout the show, but I was trying to stay focused on the convo with Joe. From Alan, who says Lions down 14 defenders as of this morning. Alan, this is a Jet show, so go find a Lion one. Your day is done.
Now look what you've done, Alan. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
Go find Lions Talk 24/7 on YouTube and enjoy. I can't. And get ready for it too. No matter what move the Jets make, it will be the wrong one in the eyes of Allen. And now look, in the last 14 years, if you fade against every decision the Jets make, you're going to be right way more than not. I get that. But just like I'm telling you, the Jets could hire Vince Lombardi, and this guy would find a problem with it, on a side note. All right, more of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on one of the quintessential Aaron Rodgers truthers. The great Neil joins us now. Hello, Neil.
Jake, how are you?
I'm good, Neil. How are you?
I don't know. I'm a little disheartened with this chat. I got knocked off yesterday for $50. I'm not very happy with that.
I had a
I might have to
dinner
find
because
a new
of you.
show to listen to because, I try to bring a ray of sunshine into this chat, but more people than not want to be miserable. I don't want to be miserable. I want positivity. And Joe B, I don't know if I was on that show. I don't think there's a single word he said there today that I don't repeat over and over and over again. I think it's my words coming out of his mouth. It's just the same thing. Sauce Gardner, okay, he didn't have a great game yesterday. He had an okay game.
He only allowed one catch for like
All right,
9
but
yards.
he had
the penalties. He did.
He had
He did.
penalties in the end zone.
I'm just
He's
saying.
grabby.
I'm saying Sauce Gardner is not nearly as bad as the way that he has been discussed. I think when you look at his drop off compared to what he was, he has not had a great year. He's still a very good cover corner who I would not trade coming off a down season.
No, there's no way of trading him. But I watched a little highlight of Darryl Stingley Jr., okay, with 2 picks yesterday.
Right, and what did Stingley do his first 2 years? He struggled and also couldn't stay healthy. I covered him in Houston.
Okay, but Jake, the guy is covering the number 1 receiver like a blanket and picking off 2 passes.
This is coaching, Neil. This is coaching.
Then you go to wait, let's swing to Patrick Surtain, who also had a pick yesterday, came off his receiver and made a pick, okay?
I get it, Neil, but interceptions aren't everything. You watch Darrell Revis' career.
He's good.
He is good. Yes, he is good.
Right?
And I think with the right coach that comes in, he could get back to being an all-pro level corner.
He's a good corner, but he's not the top corner. He's not even in the top 10, okay? I could say 10 corners that are number 1 on other teams are better than him. Right now, I'm not saying he can't get better.
I wouldn't go that far.
Right now, he's in the bottom level of a top 10 number 1 corner. If he was so good number 1, he would be able to cover the best player on other teams. He's not doing that. All right. I basically feel, as far as Corley goes, right, I just believe that he is not grasping the offense. He's doing something wrong that is preventing him from dressing, Jake. I just got to believe in practice. The guy's probably he just doesn't have a grasp of the offense. He was very one-dimensional in college, right? I mean, he was more of a short catch guy that does a lot of yak yardage, which, by the way, we could really use a guy like that in our lineup. We could use a guy that could take, when I look at other teams, right, Jake, they take a player and they give him a 2-yard pass and he turns it into 25 yards. I mean, we could use that on our team because, we don't do that. We don't do quick screens to run. We were doing them early in the season, but we don't do it to Garrett anymore. We don't have a tight end that could do a tight end screen. We don't have guys we could really use a Corley, even put him in a pony package in the backfield, throw him a little swing pass, pitch him the ball on the outside, do a jet sweep with him. This is a guy that could break tackles and is a player that's proven that he's been good. And again, this goes back to coaching, how poorly we're coached. We can't even make use of a guy that probably has some really good talent. Otherwise, why would we be so excited to draft him to begin with, right?
Yeah, look, I think it's a classic example of the front office taking a player that the coaching staff had no idea how to use. And it's like that's where you need your coach and GM on the same page. When you take a player, trade up for a player, by the way, you have to have a plan in place. And it's wild because I was at enough training camp practices this summer where I saw Corley getting some work with the ones, and they were using him all over the field. And they haven't found any role for him on this team. They had the one trick play where he dropped the touchdown, and that was it.
Right. And meantime, somebody dropped the touchdown before the end zone yesterday. Who was that?
In the Bengals game, it happened.
Who was that? The second receiver, not the what's his name, dropped the ball right before the end zone also. But
I think it was an interception. I think it was a pick six, and he dropped it, wasn't it?
No, it was a receiver.
It was
number 5. What's the second receiver on the Bengals?
Did it happen in the Indy game? And it happened in the Bengal game. Didn't it happen twice yesterday? Or am I misremembering plays?
I don't know, but I saw one.
Jonathan Taylor was involved in one. It was the Colts game.
Yeah. Maybe it was Taylor. I thought it was a receiver. No, you're right. It was Jonathan Taylor. He dropped the ball before he got in the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, so what do you want to do? You want
to? And then it was Bengals DB Jordan Battle. So it happened twice yesterday. I wasn't misremembering. Thank you.
Twice?
Happened in 2 games. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh my God! So there you go. I mean, what do you want to do? Never, at least, but let me just say this to you. The play works once for a 15-yard touchdown in the red zone, and we never do it again.
Right.
I mean, this is the kind of thing that pisses me off. They never they never do plays on a consistent basis that work. And I see other teams just, anytime there's a blitz, dump it off, screen passes. I mean, these are things we did in the first 3 games that we completely abandoned with the new play caller. So I will say, as good as he's been, and the play calling's been much better, it's kind of like becoming more and more predictable. And again, it's starting to revert back a little bit more than be more creative. I think Downing was more creative in his first couple of games, and now he's starting with this, off tackle to Brees and a little more predictability. And even Joe made note of it, that he thought the play calling was a little suspect these last couple games. It could have been a little bit more creative.
They need if you're bringing Aaron back, he's got to be willing to modernize the offense and listen to a real offensive coach. That's the reality.
But just realize this: he's not a selfish guy.
No, but he and look, this is what you expect from a Hall of Famer. He's stuck in his ways, and you can't tell him he's wrong to feel that way. He's one of the greatest of all time. The greats are stubborn to a fault sometimes. They believe that they're going to figure it out because they've been great their whole lives. That's how you become a Hall of Famer. But, Rodgers, when he ran, LaFleur's offense in Green Bay, he had a lot of success. Now, they had some principles of what they're doing now, but like this, there's no creativity in this offense. Even yesterday, all the great plays, it's not like guys were being schemed open. It was great individual efforts by Garrett in the slot getting open. It was great individual efforts by Devontae doing what he does. And Aaron, obviously, when he has time and he trusts his offensive lineman, he went out of his way to shout out the O-line so many times because he was basically untouched the whole game. When he has confidence in the guys up front and he can play in the pocket, he could sling it like anyone. We still see that.
Right. And I will say this, he was moving around in the pocket a little bit. He's still a little bit, he's starting to trust. And I want to tell you something. Shout out to Olu Fashino yesterday. I mean, he stays on his block. Like there was one play Rodgers had where he was in the pocket. And I mean, Olu Fashino was like 3 yards away from him on the left side. And he didn't even if that was, Tyron Smith, he would have looked at him and maybe wouldn't have had time. That's that play where he hit Devontae down that left sideline. That was the biggest play of the game. And that was a result of Olu Fashino holding his block and giving Rodgers that extra time to see that left side wide open, where in several games earlier, he was a little more jittery and he wouldn't have seen that down the left sideline. He might have just thrown it away or done a little bit more. So I think he's gained. I think the success we're seeing with him these last couple of games is the fact that he's trusting the offensive line more. And that really is a big part of it because let's face it, these quarterbacks are only as good as their offensive line, especially if they're a little longer in the tooth. I mean, when you got a guy like, Baker Mayfield, I love Baker Mayfield, man. He just powers himself through and moves around and he's not the most mobile. He's mobile, but he's not a running quarterback. But when he needs to be,
he's a gamer. That's what he
is.
He's
a gamer. And look, Rodgers is a gamer. Like you said, he's going down the sideline. He's pumping his fist. It's just a shame that our defense has been so goddamn god-awful this last 8 weeks. It's just, to me, it's just a shame. It's just really, I can't figure it out. I just don't see why, Ulbrich is not, they're not making any adjustments on the defense.
I think what we've learned clearly is that Robert Saleh had a lot to do with the success of this defense the last couple of years. I had heard this, and I've even said it on the show. I had heard that he was way more involved than anyone realized. And I said this in 2022. Do you remember the incident after the Bengals game between Quinnen and Aaron Wycott and the D-line coach? Quinnen was saying, stop blitzing. I heard that week Saleh took a more control over the defense from that point forward. At least that was the case that year. And I have reason to think it's remained the case because there's been such a drop-off post Salah being fired. I think it's clear he had a lot to do with the success of the defense.
And another thing, I mean, things that we observe as fans, right? Chuck Clark, sure, absolutely should be a strong safety. And 35, what's his name that made the night? Who's the other?
Jalen Mills.
Jalen Mills, is a good ball tracker on the back end. I think he made a really good play yesterday. If I don't remember, he made the pick, right? Didn't he make a pick yesterday?
He did. Yeah, he had an interception.
Yeah.
Wow, Neil, the chat is turning on you. The great Jay Graves says, anyone want to pay to get him off today?
Well, Jay Graves, look, I have my strong opinions. I guess we want to listen to, I'd really prefer to listen to Kansas City Chief guy there talk about his couch and wrapping himself up and, how he has COVID. The guy sounds like he's 90 years old. He's a 28-year-old kid with no job. So maybe you guys want to listen to him a little more. I'm interested in Jet content and listening to people who know a lot about the Jets. So, I'll let you guys listen to Chiefs fan and, all those wonderful people, those great Jet fans that we all have. Take care.
Wow, Neil, you're in your feelings, Neil. I don't like this.
I'm out.
No, Neil, come on.
Bye.
Neil.
I'm out.
No. You're still here. You haven't left.
I can't get off. I'll talk to you guys after the game next week.
No, call back, Neil. Come on.
These goddamn exploding cigars. Gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
Wow, you guys crushed Neil. Look what you guys did to him. Neil, who always goes down swinging, is defeated. Sad. Sad what you people did to my guy. The best is him not being able to figure out how to get off. All right, we do have some breaking news here that I think, in an odd way, maybe should excite Neil.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
One of the potential Jet quarterback options is off the board. Penn State quarterback Drew Aller has informed the school he intends to return for his senior year in 2025, according to Pete Thamel, who covers college football for ESPN. So that is significant for the 2025 draft. I think Aller could have been overdrafted and maybe went in the first round. He goes back to college, plays well for Penn State. He could be a top 10 pick next year. So the Drew Aller dream, if you had it, is dead. I think it's a smart move for him too, by the way. Smart move. But he's no longer an option for the Jets. A couple super chats here. First things first, let's shout out John LG. He's getting a raffle ticket in his name for what he did by gifting a membership. The chat is exploding, John, so I don't know who got it, but if you got the membership from John, you thank him. Abu Dhabi Jet fan writes, in absent B-Flow, McCown, and Sam, AR is the best option if he's willing to renegotiate. Yeah, and I think maybe he's open to it if you guarantee Devontae's here, which he would be if you're keeping Rodgers. I want Devontae back either way. I want to say this time and time again. Tell me who's the number 2 receiver next year if you're not keeping Devontae. It can't be Lazard. Look, Devontae should be here next year. He has said he'd like to be here. He's enjoyed his time here. Him and Garrett Wilson complement each other tremendously. I want Devontae here. You have the cap space to pay him. I want him here. You already burned a 3rd-round pick trading for him, which, by the way, looks like a pretty good trade as far as production, right? You had 2 3rd-round picks. Jimbo with an Asmaniac super chat. So glad you did that to that bozo, Jake. Maybe Canty was talking about Allen. Guy talks injuries for Detroit, but not us the last 2 years on our offense or Zach Wilson as QB2. Shake my head. No one cares about the Detroit Lions on this channel. The only time we'll care about the Detroit Lions is if the Jets hire either of their coordinators as their head coach. As far as how that impacts the Jets. As football fans, yeah, we watched all the games. But I'm tired of hearing about the Lions. Go watch the Lions, Alan. Enjoy. Great performance yesterday. Start being a Bills fan so they suck next year and the Jets maybe have a chance. Wouldn't that be nice? More of your calls right now. I know what we need to get the show back on track. I know what we need to get the people going. I know what we need to fire up every Asmaniac that is tuned in live right now. And there's 800 of you that are live and are watching the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time.
You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids. Please, some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles!
Hey, what's up, Charles?
Hey, Jake, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good. I watched the game yesterday in the afternoon with my father before he went to work. And
The great Dennis Gorman.
Yes, Mr. Gorman watched the game with me, and we had a good time. Devontae went off in the second half, which was beautiful. It's funny enough, interesting enough, if you ever, I know not everyone likes this individual, but when he was on Club Shay Shay a while ago, he put Randy Moss over Jerry Rice on his Mount Rushmore of receivers list. I thought that was interesting.
I would disagree with him, but it doesn't really matter to me one way or another.
I mean, as I was saying, Devontae Adams is great. I mean, I just said it on Discord yesterday. He has recorded 860 combined receiving yards during his time with us and with the Raiders. So he has 6 touchdowns on the year. Garrett Wilson has 933 receiving yards on the season, as well as 6 touchdowns. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, I think he's played very well the last couple of weeks. I know a lot of people have criticized him over the season, throughout the season, and in some aspects deservingly so, but I think these past couple of weeks, Aaron Rodgers, to me, looks like, in some aspects, vintage Aaron Rodgers.
I agree.
Plus, last night, he was our leading rusher. He ran about 5 or 6 times for 45 yards.
I mean, he was moving and grooving. He was like you back in your athletic days.
I'm not exactly an athlete, but I appreciate the compliment.
I've seen you play multiple sports over the years, Charles.
Yeah, very funny. Anyways, Olu Fashanu looks good, man. I know he got penalized in the game, which is his 4th or 5th penalty on the season. He's been great for us as left tackle.
I agree. I think anyone who is questioning that pick, I think maybe you take a breath and you realize it's not a great tackle class coming out, and you have your long-term answer at left tackle going forward.
Well, Joe Olton has been very good for the Chargers. I know a lot of Jet fans wanted him too.
There were 2 consensus top offensive tackles, left tackles. One of them was Alt, who's been awesome for the Chargers, and the other was Olu. And if the Jets had started Olu all year, they might have another win or 2 right now. That's how bad Tyron Smith was.
Well, I'm not denying that, but we have to understand we didn't just bring Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses in just to play. We brought them in to mentor and teach the young generation of the Jet, the younger offensive linemen.
The young whippersnappers, so to speak.
Yes. And while I understand Tyron Smith has not been what he once was during the prime of his career with the Cowboys, I can't sit there and say that the Tyron Smith signing was a complete, utter failure, because if you don't think that he gave Olu some good pointers, like, listen, don't do this, don't do that, stand your ground, that type of stuff. I don't know.
Give me your best offensive lineman stance.
You serious?
Why would I lie to you? Yeah, but you got to, and then I'm going to say hot hike and then get ready to pass block. Ready? Hot hike. There we go.
What I'm saying is that I understand Tyron Smith, in terms of his play, has been a major disappointment this season. That I am not arguing nor debating with my fellow Jet fans. But Morgan Moses, I think, has played better these last couple of weeks. I know he didn't miss the rest of the game versus the Dolphins. I know he hasn't.
I'd bring him back, Charles. He's playing for $6.5 million this year.
I like Morgan Moses. He's got good character. He's got good character.
He's also still pretty good. Like, there's a noticeable drop off when he leaves and like Max Mitchell or someone, Carter Warren, comes in and plays tackle. I'd re-sign him to a 1-year deal. I would draft someone this year that's the long-term replacement that could sit and learn, similar to what Olu got to do this year. And I'd run back the same 5 offensive line, so there's continuity there for Rodgers. Bring back Devontae. You have Garrett. You have Brees. You have Braylon Allen. You have Isaiah Davis. Get a real offensive line coach. And I don't know, maybe if this defense is fixed with real coaching, you're going to be a competitive team next year fighting for a playoff spot while you also still draft a quarterback behind Aaron. I think in a perfect world, that's right now what I would do, subject to how these final 3 games go.
Agreed, and I'm not arguing with you on that. Also, can we give a huge shout out to John Simpson, Elijah Vera Tucker, and Joe Tippmann? They've been awesome this year. I mean, I got to give a huge shout out to Jason Kelsey, the future Hall of Fame center, played his entire career with the Eagles.
You're big on the shout-outs today.
There's no shout-outs today?
No, I said you're big on dishing out shout-outs today.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jason Kelsey gave Joe Tippmann.
It was more of an observation, but continue, Charles.
He gave Joe Tippmann a huge amount of respect. If you remember when I talked about in the pregame show when the Jets were playing the 49ers, he said Joe Tippmann looks like a pretty good center, and he has been this year. The stats have improved. The communication has improved. The blocking has been awesome. So Joe Tippmann, I think, has been a tremendous – if I was to regrade the Joe Tippmann, it was a second-round pick if my memory serves me correctly.
Your memory is accurate.
I give that pick an A fucking plus. Excuse me.
Whoa, family show, Chuck.
I said excuse my language, didn't I?
I didn't hear that part.
I said I give that pick an A plus. It has been tremendous.
I think he's a good player. Yeah, I think he's only going to get better too. Get a real offensive line coach. Watch.
Well, I don't know if what the heck is his name? His son is the head coach of the Titans, so I know are terrible, but he's our offensive line coach, Brian Callahan.
Bill Callahan, yeah.
Oh, Bill Callahan, yes. I'm sorry, I got the two names confused. Maybe the Jets can get him back. He used to be our offensive line coach, and our offensive line was pretty good under him.
Yeah, look, there's other good O-line coaches out there. I'm not going to pretend like I know, but that's on a guy like Mike Vrabel or whoever the head coach is. I hope it's Vrabel to hire the right people.
I wouldn't mind Vrabel. He was a good coach with Tennessee. The reason why his team wasn't very good the last couple of years was because of the quarterback play.
Yeah, and the talent got worse as the GM made some bad moves, like trading away A.J. Brown and replacing him with Treylon Burks.
Yeah, that too. Also, I hope Jalen Mills is okay for next week. I heard he got like either a nose injury or a head injury or something.
I believe he'll be okay.
That was a great interception and a terrible throw by Mac Jones. And it was great to see Sauce get his first pick since his rookie year. That was awesome, too.
Now, give us the breakdown. You said you watched the game yesterday with your father, the great Dennis Gorman. Did you guys have any pizza, wings? What was the spread like?
No, we were just watching TV with no snacks, and then, we had dinner. I know Gary's going to love this, and I mean that sarcastically speaking.
Uh-oh.
We had pasta with chicken.
What type of pasta?
Spaghetti.
Okay. And what type of chicken?
Regular chicken, chicken thighs, chicken breasts, with flavored tomato sauce.
So not quite chicken parm, though.
Not quite chicken parm, though. My mother has made chicken parm a few times, and it was actually pretty good.
How does it compare to the famous chicken soup?
It's two different things, but I say they're both pretty damn good.
Well, if you're dying and you only can have one, which one are you picking?
Well, it depends on the weather. If it's cold out, I'll take the chicken soup. If it's nice out, I'll take the chicken parm.
So on a day like today, I'd imagine you'd go with the chicken soup.
Yes, sir.
And what's your take on butter?
Butter's good, but you can't have too much. I like butter. I put butter sometimes on my pancakes. Sometimes I put butter on my waffle. Sometimes I put butter on my toast. Sometimes I put butter as well as some salt in my baked potato.
Do you ever just eat a stick of butter?
No, that is crazy.
Well, that's what Gary does. That's what we're talking about.
Well, that's Gary. No disrespect to you, buddy, but you do you. I'm going to do me.
It's well said.
How's your family doing, Jake?
They're doing well. Everyone's good. I saw some members of my family on Friday at my cousin's wedding, so that was fun.
That's fantastic, man. I spent time with my friend Colin on Saturday. We watched some movies.
Anything of note?
Well, I did show him the Deadpool and Wolverine movie on Disney Plus. He enjoyed that.
Good to
we
hear.
also watched the Jim Carrey version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Very nice.
I think that movie's underrated, in my opinion, because that movie gave us a deeper, more in-depth backstory as to why the Grinch hates the Who's and Christmas.
My brother's watching the show. He says the fam is doing well, Charles. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome, Zach.
He's a big fan of yours, by the way.
Interesting. Thanks for the heads up.
He watches the Charles Gorman program.
Thank you. I definitely plan on doing a review before New Year's Eve. So, shameless self promo alert. Forgot.
Here we go.
I may do a review before New Year's Eve. So stay tuned for that. Also, trying to think of what else to say. Nick's still trying to get me to go to a Jet game, but I'll have to talk to my parents about that.
Well, you only have 2 games left.
The Dolphins game and the Rams game.
Well, Rams this week, Dolphins the last week of the season.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Now, what if I told you could use promo code Jake Asman with SeatGeek and save $20?
I'll think about it.
Also, how's your brother Edward doing since you asked about my brother?
My brother's doing good. He just got up after a long day of sleep.
He just got up now?
Yeah, my brother likes to sleep long hours like me.
It's 11:30 in the morning. What's he doing all day?
Well, he had to take my grandmother last night to a funeral, to a wake.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And then, sometimes my brother has difficulty sleeping. Sometimes he doesn't. But other than that, he's been doing good.
And how did you sleep last night?
I slept good. I usually sleep very good, so.
That's good. You have a comfortable mattress?
Yes, I've been sleeping in the same bed for a long time.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that.
And Mr. Neal, don't worry. I am not against you. You're a good man. You're a hardworking man. And I know you still love Aaron Rodgers. Believe me, I do too. Part of me does want to keep Aaron Rodgers for next year. But let's see how I'm one of those Jet fans that want to take it game by game to see how well he does. I know we're no longer in playoff contention. I know we're out of it, but I want to see how this team performs heading into next season.
Well, the good news is they don't have to make the decision yet. We can wait for the final 3 games to play out, and then we'll see how it looks.
Agreed. It was good talking with you, Jake. Peace
Charles,
out.
you as well. Although I do have one final question for you.
Yes.
So you told us what you had for dinner yesterday. So you mean to tell me, though, from 1 o'clock until the conclusion of the Jets game, you and your dad, the great Dennis Gorman, did not have a single snack watching football?
No, sometimes we do have snacks. Sometimes we don't. I mean, I know the whole gig is you can't have Tostitos without watching football, but, maybe next time we'll do it.
No chips and guac, no.
We don't have any guacamole nor salsa at the moment.
Well, we got to change that.
I know.
I know where you live because I called that Uber for you leaving the
I know
meetup
you
one
do.
time. Well,
I know you do.
I might Grubhub you some chips and guac for next Sunday.
Well, we do have Tostitos and some potato chips.
I'll provide the guac. How does that sound?
I prefer salsa than guacamole.
I'll provide the salsa.
Make sure it's mild.
You got it. Charles, you're the man.
Thank you. You too.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
Now that is a big-time call by Charles Gorman. I'd imagine that could be top 10 worthy. Let's make it clear. The tournament's not till March, but the monthly rankings come out, and we rank the top 10. I think Charles Gorman's on the board for December. We'll find out where he ranks. MJ is in for the raffle. He is gifted 1 channel membership. Thank you, MJ. The big fella says, Charles is looking great. Keep up the good work. Been too long between calls. No Diddy. I agree. We need more Gorman. Scott writes in, Charles for swing tackle. That pass set was beautiful. I'm with you, Scott. Gator writes in, huge shout out to Dennis Gormani for making Charles Gormani Esquire III. Can Charles let us know how that went down? Tremendous. All right, more of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to Pablo. Hello, Pablo. Pablo? Where are we right now? We're in school? What is this? Where's Connor Long? Are we in middle school? Are we in high school? There's no sound, so clearly he muted it. Hello, everyone. School. I mean, what do we have? A class assembly here? Any Asmaniacs in the house? Is it lunchtime? No, they look like they're at a school assembly. Pablo? All right. You guys enjoy school. We can't hear you. What a call. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Johnny Boy. Hey, Johnny.
What up, Jake?
What's up, Johnny? Love the hat.
I appreciate it, man.
Let me plug it again, by the way. Promo code JETSWIN for the next 24 hours, 15% off all items in the merch store, including that hat that Johnny's wearing.
Fits perfect. Brim is good. Good material on it. The brim is dope on here. The logo is on point.
Yes, sir.
I mean, what are we talking about right now?
Your guy Snowball was the one who originally designed that for me, just so you know.
Yes, sir. I do he's an artist. He's an artist, man.
That he is. That he is.
Jake for the kids, man. After that call, I would have to say so. But
hey, made it big in middle school, seemingly, based on that last call.
Hey, it only goes up from there, bro. So, the whole stuff with A-Rod and everything. Look, you said it multiple times that these last couple of games are going to be what he's auditioning for next year, and it's still truth to it. I think a lot of the fan base truly blames him for everything this year, and I think it's unfair, right? I think the defense has failed him. I think he's really playing his first year with the Jets, trying to get to know everybody. The line was not consistent enough until now. We're starting to see that. And next year, the free agency class is trash. The quarterbacks coming into the draft, we won't be there to pick any of the good ones at all. Build up the trenches, right? Get us a safety, tight end. Let's do that. And there's players here, and that win yesterday meant a lot more for them than what people are talking about and all that. Them dudes were happy as anything going into their impressor. They were smiling. Everybody was good. They were like joking each other, stuff like that. You've always said it, bro. Winning is the best deodorant out there, right? Because it just masks so much stuff that's going on, and people are not talking about it. He was not supposed to be MVP Rodgers. People forget that. He was supposed to be competent enough to us to go ahead and win the games. And
which, outside of a handful of games, I think if you're being fair, if the bar is competent quarterback play, he's done that certainly more than what a 4-10 record would indicate, right? We thought they'd have a top 5 defense. We thought the kicking situation was secure. We didn't think the coaching staff would ever get to, the state it's in. Rodgers has not been great. He certainly has not been perfect. He is not what he once was. But the idea that, he hasn't been competent in more games than not. I mean, Rodgers has 23 total touchdowns this year. Zach Wilson in his career has 23 career touchdowns. Like, let's not forget what we were watching the last few years. And I'm not saying that's why you bring Rodgers back because he's better than what they've had. But, I don't think Rodgers should get the brunt of this team being 4-10 would be my main point.
Exactly. And I mean, it's a package deal almost, right? With A-Rod and Devontae. Why not? Why would we not want that? Have another year with Garrett and Devontae? Because if Garrett is our main wide receiver one for the future and all that, just learn from the guy and see that. You saw it yesterday. Some of the stuff that he's doing, I was like, holy crap. Like this guy is that good. And the defense, I mean, there's pieces that we have here that anybody that's going to come on over, GM, head coach tandem, whatever, they're like, I got stuff here to work with. And yes, why not have a bridge quarterback who is going to be a Hall of Famer here and possibly, get a quarterback maybe? I don't know. Maybe we already have the quarterback and we just don't know, I don't know. It's very uncertain, but to say that, Aaron Rodgers is the main reason why, I think it's a little bit unfair, and it's honestly like not right for what he's doing. Again, this is really his first year being behind the line. in itself. We lost some 4 plays and all that, and then we were getting a whole bunch of new people. Keep rocking with the young cats. I loved what I saw from Stiggers, right? He looked good. Jalen Mills, I mean, he's been a nice little piece that we've picked up, right? I want to see Corley. Like, let Corley rock. Let's see what we have with them for the future itself. You know, the next couple of games that are coming up, let's see Aaron Rodgers, how he does against the Rams, against the Bills. And honestly, beat the damn Dolphins. We beat the Dolphins. That makes the season, for me at least, you know, even though it's been a crappy season, but I hate the Dolphins, bro. Fins die all day, every day. So, Jake, I appreciate you, man. Hey, that's Maniac merch, man. I need to go grab it. All right? Appreciate you, brother. Peace.
I love it. I love it. You are the man, Johnny. Thank you for the support. Love it. That by the way, the hat he's wearing is probably my favorite hat of all the hats we have in the merch store. It's a snapback. It's awesome. Came out great. Looks better in person too. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll continue to cut the line. Last chance to get a raffle entry on this show. We're going to do the raffle this afternoon. It's going to be a mega raffle. We're going to do 5 winners. I'm adding another Rodgers jersey to it, by the way. We have so many memberships that are in. There'll be not 1, but 2 jerseys given away and the Super Bowl 3 trophy, or a Super Bowl 3 photo. So we've gotten a ton of memberships. Like Dark Knight Steve yesterday on his birthday threw in 47. Felix put in 32. So I just want to get as many as we can. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello right now to Rob the Jet fan. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Jake. Good morning.
What's up, Rob?
Jake, the people got to calm down and not beat up on my Goomba Neil there. They're killing them on the chat. But you know what? A lot that he says is true. I mean, we're seeing Aaron at his best right now, being healthy. And the other games, he wasn't really 100% healthy. You know it and I know it. They should have put Tyrod into play at least a couple of games to let him rest, or at least half games, something. And right now you see him running down the field. He's jumping up and down. He's leading the team with rushing yards, 45 yards, which is hysterical. So you know what? We're seeing a renewed Rodgers who really wants to stay. I don't think he wants to go anyplace, especially if a guy like Vrabel takes over, like you said. And just those numbers that you brought up from that guy, Nathan, 13 touchdowns his last 7 games, 1 interception, 100.4 rating, 22.4 per game. I mean, and then they blew the lead with 1 minute left, 5 out of the 7 games. Tells a story right there. I understand that he's got to lower his cap hit. I get it. I don't disagree. He should be able to learn a new system, especially if you have a guy like Vrabel there, Jake. He's going to listen. I don't think he's going to say, no way, I'm not going to do that. I think he would listen. He would be open to it. Yes, great players are a little stubborn to change their ways. But you know what? I think he would definitely change. And let's be honest, Jake. Let me ask you a question. If Saleh goes for a DC job next year, how quick is he going to get a DC job next year?
I think he's getting a DC job immediately.
Now, let's be honest. How quick is Ulbrich going to get a DC job next year?
He might struggle after what we've seen this year.
He might be a linebackers coach next year. I'm sorry to say it. He's really hurt his stock a lot because it's like what you just said a moment ago. You brought up a good point. Look what happened and stuff like that when they didn't think that obviously that time when Quinnen started screaming at him about, bringing how many people to the line on the blitzes and stuff, that was too much. And then Quinnen ripped him out a new you-know-what. And then all of a sudden, Saleh kind of said, okay, you know what? I need to be more part of this. And the defense always stayed top 3. Now that the spotlight's on him as a head coach, which is not fair to Ulbrich, but DC,
it's Ulbrich, right? If Peter Castro hasn't completely corrupted you, has he?
What happened?
You know it's Ulbrich, right? Not Ulbrich.
Yeah, I know. He's got it in my head, Peter. I mean, the what called the slow dick and the freaking all these things, flowing A's. Come on, you hear it 100 times, Jake. You got to say it once or twice. But Peter's a Goomba, too. I love
We
Peter.
got to get rid of Yolbrick and then go after Gabriel first. Then I want Queensberry. Got to look at the monkey guy. I like Floney. And maybe Slow Dick in Houston is the answer.
Yeah, it's definitely on my mind.
Can I ask you something, Rob? Is every Italian guy a Goomba? Like, can you be Italian and not be labeled a Goomba?
No.
What are the qualifications for that?
No, you got to be that you watch the guy's back, that you're a cool guy. I mean, there's a lot of people who are not. They're fugazi. So, no, it's not that easy, Jake. I mean, you got to be right. And you know what? You could be a Goomba and not be Italian. You don't have to be Italian.
Okay.
I mean, it's certain people who you say, you know what? He's a real good guy and stuff.
Right.
But just a couple more things, and I know you have a lot of callers calling in, but let's be honest. I was not surprised that Joe B was going to lead the chant for Aaron, and now he even wants Vrabel as his number one guy. And come on, you saw it coming. And what's going to happen? When is Fireman Ed coming on? Friday?
Friday.
Come on, take some wagers here. What do you think he's going to be saying? Do you think he's going to be saying that he wants Aaron back or not? What do you think?
I mean, he's always been an Aaron guy. My preference is Aaron coming back too. I'm just not going to make that decision and say that's what they like. There's an argument for both sides. Is kind of
there's
my point.
Definite. You're right. There's no definite. But you know what, Jake? You can't say that Aaron Rodgers doesn't make you excited to watch a game. Yesterday, we're 4-10. I'm sorry, 3-10 yesterday prior to the game. We've been playing not shitty, but a tease to the end, and then we lose the game. But when you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers and you score 32 points, no offense, I'm sorry, I'm not Allen. I don't want Sam Howell in there for a year. Let's get excited about Sam Howell or Justin Fields running in circles. I'm not excited about that. I agree with Joe B and Fireman and Neil. I want to run it back one more time under the right circumstances, but I want to run it back one more time. It gives us something to be excited about because if you have Vrabel there next year, okay, you have a real head coach, a real defensive coordinator, a real offensive coordinator, and clock manage and not silly penalties. You're going to tell me that we have, and we fixed a few things. You don't think we have a shot to at least make a wild card next year? And this is if Aaron's healthy. I'm throwing that in. You don't think we have a shot to at least make a wild card next year? I think we do. I think we could win at least 9 games.
I've said it. I've said it. I think in the right scenario, you're competing for a playoff spot next year. But that doesn't mean you necessarily keep Rodgers. There's the cap ramifications. There's a new regime coming in. I want them to decide. I don't care what I want, what any caller wants, what Joe B wants. Whatever the GM and coach decide, that's the decision. You got to let them make their own decisions. If you're Woody Johnson and you're not going to be hands-on, you bring in a regime, you hire the football people, and then let them make the evaluation. That's it. Big fella says, Jake, I got the sauce jersey. Thank you. Wow, that was fast, big fella. That arrived quick. Glad you got it. Giveaway on the 4 p.m. Eastern show today. Get ready. C writes in, run it back with AR, DA, GW. I think AR would be open to a pay cut as opposed to starting over somewhere, can still extend Garrett and other key guys with the cap. Well, whether Aaron's here or not, I'm extending Garrett Wilson immediately. That's one of the first moves I'm making. As I continue to say every week and will continue to say it. That's a guy you pay and a guy you keep. And by the way, see how pissed off Garrett Wilson is on a team that is 3-10 yesterday and wants to win? I love that. See how happy he is to see Devontae have success and win? Garrett is that dude. He's going to go over 1,000 yards and probably finish with 100 catches. No Jet has ever done that in their first 3 years. 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He's got more catches than any Jet receiver in history through 3 years. Should be a Jet his whole career. Shadowburn is in on the raffle. He became a member by signing up the old-fashioned way. By hitting the join button. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your calls. I have been warned by several people that this guy could be unhinged.
The only thing better than all these shoes is sexy Rexy because he also loves food. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody, and man, these Jets are depressing.
Jake, my brother.
Mr.
Jake,
Bonesy.
my brother. What is good in the hood?
How are you, man? How are you feeling after watching Aaron Rodgers lead the Jets to victory?
You know, I am, just for the record, I am not worried about being right. I am not, I'm the opposite of Allen when it comes to like throwing it in your face. Like, I am not trying to think that I'm right and I would rather be right. I think more like watching Aaron Rodgers this year, just because, like, look, my stance today is the same stance on Thursday when everybody was calling me delusional. And, I was listening to people say Justin Fields and Gardner Minshew and Jameis Winston and all these guys are better options. And it's like, I'm enjoying the only enjoyment I can get out of this year really is that our offense, this is the first time in 15 years, second time in 15 years, other than the Fitzpatrick year, that we've just, been able to score some points. And if you go by that stat that you gave, the last 7 games, 5 out of the 7, we had a lead with under 1 minute. How could you process that and not say, man, at least Rodgers is giving us a chance to win these games, even in this coaching shitstorm, even with the defense playing like a defense we've never seen in the past couple of years, even with our special team sucking. I find it like, even with the cap ramifications, in my heart, I look at it as, what would I rather have? $49 million in dead cap space, and you can't promise me average quarterback play, or $63 million, and you can promise me average quarterback play. And for that $14 million difference, what is that? Not paying like a DJ Reed caliber and letting Stiggers play a year, or us not bringing back Sherwood and having to draft a linebacker in the first round? These are the type of decisions that I would 100% say, yo, you give Rodgers a good coaching staff and an offensive coordinator maybe that is a little more intuitive and creative, and Rodgers is comfortable with that. Because one thing we all know, if you guys think, for one, Davante Adams is staying without Rodgers, and 2, if you think Davante Adams is going to be cool with us bringing in Justin Fields, his old school friend Gardner Minshew, he demanded a trade from, or Jameis Winston, you guys are it's not, I don't know. I can't. Justin Fields, the love for Justin Fields, that man, if he isn't running, he's never even eclipsed 2,600 yards passing. And I think his most was like, I looked last night, it was like 17 touchdowns. Like, we would boo them. We don't have patience for quarterbacks. We've been the worst team in the last 15 years, besides Fitzpatrick's here, in the quarterback room. So I just feel the coaches are going to make the coach and GM will make this decision for us. Because if we do go in the the young Cliff Kingsbury, what's the guy's name? Is it Bowen from Tampa Bay? Is that their offensive coordinator?
Liam Cohen.
Liam Cohen. If we go, I know Ben Johnson isn't coming here, but if we go that route, I personally don't think they're going to want Rodgers back, unless Rodgers is adamant about playing and saying, "Hey, man, let me be the bridge. I'll take a pay cut, and I'll be open to."
I think it's more likely with a Vrabel or Flores veteran coach, but I don't think it's crazy to think that Liam Cohen would want Rodgers, for example, as his quarterback for a year, and then they draft someone behind him. Or you give Cohen the assurance, hey, you could run it with Rodgers for a year, and if you don't want him, after a year, you can move on, and then you could draft your quarterback. Like, you're going to get the chance to draft your guy. That's what you have to tell him if you hire him.
Right? And I think he should get – I think that no matter what, we still have to draft the quarterback. That is a definite. Like, you draft a quarterback with Rodgers. If Rodgers wants to play football next year, he's going to want to play with Davante. You saw how they manipulated everything to come, play together again. I feel like that is going to weigh heavily on Rodgers' decision if he gets to play with Davante again. And, like, Rodgers bought a house here. Like, if he's going to want to play football, it's probably going to be with us. So, counting Rodgers wants to play, and the coaching regime wants him back. I don't understand why people are tore up about $14 million. What's $14 million? You guys would have gave up $63 million to have average quarterback play last year. Like we and this is average quarterback play on a shit team that has no run game and had injuries. Like if you go by his healthy games, his first 3 games and his last 3, he's been healthy. Like yesterday, he was moving around. Yesterday, he showed he could still do that magic where he could break contain and throw across his body off one leg and dot somebody.
Yes, he's healthy right now, but the pushback would be he's 3 straight years he's played through some significant injuries. And he's probably going to be playing through something again next year. So, like, that's what you're taking into account. You don't typically get healthier as you get older. You're more susceptible to injuries.
I agree. But on the flip side, I'd personally rather take that chance with Rodgers rather than going the Gardner Minshew or any of these backup quarterbacks going that route just for the $14 million. That $14 million, you guys are making it like it's such a big deal. To me, it's really not in the grand scheme of things to have a quarterback that probably has a chance to break our all-time franchise record touchdown passes. So if he's in the neighborhood, we got 3 games left. 7 touchdowns is what needed to tie it. I mean, he should have had 4 touchdowns yesterday. Devontae got stopped at the 1. So it's just I'm just more of a person. Like it felt good watching somebody sling it around. Just someone be able to make those dots. Like someone to be able to throw that fade. Someone to be able to alert to know. I don't know. I love the people who keep telling just on Thursday, everybody was telling me how crazy I was about wanting Rodgers over these guys for the $14 million. That $14 million can be, especially if he signs a cheaper contract, that might not be as bad of a hit.
Then it's
$14
a
million
easier sell if he takes a pay cut and it mitigates the dead cap in 2026 to $30 million instead of 63 or 64 million.
They'll definitely break it up if Rodgers is here next year. They won't take 63 in the 1 year. They'll probably break it up.
They could split it over 2, but still, but there's only a certain amount you're allowed to split up based on the contract. Like I've shown this on the show a lot, and I'll keep referring to this here because it's all in one tweet by Play Like a Jet. The $63 million in 26, you could spread it to $21 million and then $42 million. But a new GM will ask themselves, why am I dealing with $42 million of dead cap in 2027, 2 years after Aaron Rodgers would have last played for the team? It wouldn't make sense. So I think he would have to take a pay cut to be back. That's my feeling right now with 3 games to go. Now, I'm skipping ahead here to the super chat from Big Fella. He says Devontae isn't tied to Rodgers. He left once already. I think that circumstance was unique. Devontae hadn't been paid yet. He now has. He's later in his career. And he only left to go play with his college quarterback in Derek Carr. So
about to say that.
I think if you keep Rodgers, Devontae's here. If Rodgers leaves, it's less likely Devontae's here. And then you need another receiver to replace him. So that's part of it too.
In my opinion, there's zero chance that that Devontae's going to sign up for like a let's draft a young quarterback a year and bring in like one of these guys, veterans, or let Tyrod run the show. Like, I just don't know how, like, we're so comfortable to be worried about that $14 million cap difference and want to just get it out of the way so badly next year and not really have a chance. Because if you guys tell me we're going to take a $49 million cap year hit just to get rid of it next year and have a bridge quarterback to a rookie, you're basically telling me that we're not trying to win next year. Because I don't see how you're going to deal with those cap ramifications, not having a veteran quarterback, trying to develop a rookie. You know what? We're going to be talking about this for the next couple months, and it all depends. Because we were in Nick's DP last night for like 4 hours talking about this.
After the show?
Yeah.
Wow.
After his show, we went into the DP, and we were literally, me, Rob, B, Jay, we were loving and arguing with Nick and for a while about this. And you know what we did, Jake? We went through every team in the NFL right now to see if you would rather have Rodgers or their current quarterback. And there were Rodgers was like 15, you know? So like
well, I said he to me has played for the most part like an average NFL starter this year.
Yeah,
Which
so
is what I was which is like that's all he would in theory had to have done this year if the defense and special teams and coaching wasn't as bad as it was. Like you put this for and I've said it all year, so it's not just based off of this past game where he looked great. If you put this version of Aaron on last year's Jet team, they win 10 or 11 games and are in the playoffs. Because last year's defense was legit. Last year's kicker couldn't miss. And say whatever you want about Robert Saleh. He had that team playing hard. They never quit. They won 3 of their last 5. Like, they're not a 7-win team with Rodgers at quarterback last year. We'll never know. The Achilles injury wrecked everything, but that's a fact.
Yeah, and again, right now, Rodgers ranks 6th in the NFL in touchdown passes. I know it's a little more fabricated because we don't run the ball in the red zone, but for all of us fans, you guys have all been there with me watching the last 15 years or so of quarterback play. And we had the one outlier year, but it has been bad over here. And I'm sick of comparing us to just the 3 juggernauts. Oh, you know, Detroit and the Chiefs and the Bills. It's like, yo, let's compare our quarterback play to the average teams because we brought Rodgers here to play average ball. We didn't want him to carry us. That was not why we were trading for the 40-year-old one guy. We were trading for him to show us that he's got a little magic in the tank when he needs it, but that we should compliment him with what we had last year, and that didn't happen. So it was an epic fail, but my goodness, I could not let this guy walk to another team, and I can't fathom it. And us go through another year of just booing the rookie because he's not performing, and it's going to depend. If we get one of these veteran coaches to come in, the Vrabels, I'll even say Flores in there, Gruden, Rex, any of these like hardcore defensive guys, they're going to want Rodgers back. If you go the Cliff Kingsbury, the Cohen route, the Stefanski, if he got, I would take him in a heartbeat. But any of the more offensive guys who want to develop, I mean, the Stefanski's a bad because he could take anybody. He'll take Joe Flacco.
Sorry, I don't know how to do that.
So
busy day at Alden's over there, huh? The phone lines are bustling.
They're popping. Jake, my brother, I love you guys. I love Jets Nation. We're all in this together. And let's just enjoy watching good quarterback play because we haven't seen it in 15 years. So once in 15. This is the second time in 15 years we can see somebody who could throw the ball. You know what I mean? Let's just enjoy for what it is.
This was Bonesy yesterday watching Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas.
He was losing all the bananas. Good call, Mr. Bonesy. Leading the Aaron Rodgers return charge. Comments, questions, super chats, we'll cut the line. We are over 2 hours. I still got a bunch of people on hold. And I like to be transparent with my audience because I believe you guys are the best listeners in all of sports. I believe the Jet fan base is the best fan base in sports. I have to take a tinkle. So I will be right back. And we'll continue the show right after this.
Do you guys remember there was an incident in Las Vegas where a man attacked a Clark County judge? After this happened, I said, the guy in the video is actually a listener of the show. So not the guy who basically like Troy Polamalu'd over like the judge dais, but the guy that is a listener of the show is the hero who tried to immediately apprehend this wacko. And yesterday, Michael Lasso, the law clerk who helped protect the Clark County judge who was attacked in court last month, was named Citizen of the Month in Vegas. You could see our guy Michael Lasso on the left there. It's a pretty cool moment for Michael, who joins us right now. What's up, Michael?
How you doing, Jake? Good to see you.
Man, what's it like being a hero?
Oh my God, you know what I mean? It's so honestly, it's just so surreal and so humbling. Truly, I never expected it to be, on SNL and TikTok and Twitter. And
while I fly this way, right? Mm-hmm. The bailiff, he run behind me, he fall down. Look at him, man. That's terrible, man.
It's really just incredible, to be honest. And that leap that man did was pretty impressive. And I think that's part of the reason why that video has gone so crazy.
I mean, the guy, like, he timed the snap perfectly, right? Like, he did the full Troy Polamalu over the. I mean, what goes through your mind in real time as that's happening? Like, you even have time to think? Was it all just natural reaction? Kind of take us through what's happening there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's no time to think for sure. I mean, the video doesn't even do it justice, just that how fast that actually occurred. I mean, 1 minute he's sitting there just talking about how, he'll accept whatever the judge is willing to give him. And then the next minute he's on top of the judge. So when he initially made a run, I thought, okay, he's going for the door. Last thing I thought he was going for the judge, and I definitely didn't think he was ever going to make contact. It was so nice to the mayor. It was so nice to the city. It was such an incredible experience. And I mean, when the mayor first called me, I answered the phone, and I'm thinking to myself, who is this? The mayor? Do you have the right number?
The video honestly doesn't even do it justice as to just how fast it really was. I mean, it went from just any normal day to just, honestly, just straight, havoc. I mean, it was in a blink of an eye, and there really wasn't much time to think. You just kind of react.
I mean, I remember when it happened, and like the video was everywhere, and then you told me that was you, and I was like, what? No way. And I just I couldn't believe it, man.
I know. I wish I could have came on your show earlier, but obviously the sentencing was still going on. There were things in motion, so I just couldn't. But I really appreciate you giving me a chance and coming on here.
It's not every day that, a listener to the show is like a legitimate hero. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, what ended up happening? Was he sentenced? Where's the guy who, attacked you?
Yeah, so basically, yeah, he was given the sentence he was going to get originally. He's got new charges that he's facing, and that's going on in a different courtroom with a different judge, and we'll kind of see where that goes.
Can you believe that when they brought me back to court, they put a muzzle on me, man?
Yeah, probably for everybody's safety.
Man, I ain't bite nobody.
That's unbelievable, man. I love it. A Jet fan is a hero out in Las Vegas.
And those clips of Judge Allen, oh my God, those had me dead. Oh my God, those are the best things I've ever seen. I don't know. Gatorade, those are incredible.
I believe you mean this right here.
I'd rather be the Jake Asman heel than the Robert Saleh truther any day of the week. But it's weird because I don't see myself as a heel. I think I'm a realist.
I don't want to hear none of that shit. You do not root for no damn New England to win shit.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh, it's too good. It's too good. Oh my God. Thank you again, Jake.
Michael, you're the man. Appreciate you joining the show, brother. We have the best audience. I've always said it. That's as good as it gets right there.
Here we go, buddy.
All right. Quick update on that clip, by the way. The guy that attacked the judge, he was just sentenced to 26 years in prison, I saw. So how about that for a conclusion? Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I see Jake Quest says, Jake, that's a long P. I was done a while ago. I just wanted to play it out because that clip there was topical. I also had to post our weekly short on the Jets to my Twitter and TikTok at Jake Asman Show. So I got to finish posting when we get back to it. Big fella writes in, love Bonesy and his loyalty. That's why he's our QB1. We do love Bonesy. He's a loyal man. I have more of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you never know what type of controversy this guy could bring to a show. Aaron Rodgers is coming off, arguably. His best game as a Jet. Certainly one of them. So here we go.
B-Mac. Look at my TV. B-Mac. I love Aaron Rodgers. Jets. Go Jets. Hey, Jake. Happy Victory Monday to you. I'm glad the Jets got the win. I don't even know what to say about Rodgers. He was spectacular. 45 led the team in rushing with 45 rushing yards. So it's good to see him out there scrambling, out there, running around, looking happy. But I do think, I'm, me, I'm on Bonesy, Neil, and Joe B's side, man. I think you got to bring this guy back at least one more year. You know what I mean? I think that I think him getting hurt really hindered his mobility because we saw it with the Patriots week 3, and then we saw it last week against Miami, and then we saw it again yesterday. And this has times that he's put the Jets in position to win games. The defense, has failed him. Not shocked. Like I feel like this is like the Packers when we watch the Packers defense fail them. multiple times during the season, especially in the playoffs. But and then the other thing is Peanut Head. How about you, Detroit Lions, buddy? They got exposed. Exposed, all right? How about those apples? And of course, the Packers won last night. So Jets won, Packers won. You know what I mean? 2 double victory Mondays for me, and I'm very happy.
You're happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you then, B-Mac.
Yes.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and I'm a little shocked that I got sent to the hole. It's not a fun place to be at. Very dark and lonely and cold in there. So hopefully I won't go back there again.
Well, it's good to have you back, B-Mac. I know the chat definitely missed you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say all of the chat. You know what I mean? Like Red Kent, Dave Brigger, Peanut Head, what you said about him. But I will say this: me and JJ are on good terms. You know what I mean? I told JJ that we are brothers. All right, we are brothers from a mother, and us brothers gotta stick together, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? We gotta be so we unite. So shout out to JJB and JJ on great terms, but Foster Peanut Head and Rick Kent, I don't got nothing against Rick Kent, so I'm shocked that he's coming after me. For these other, like, again, I love a lot of people here, man. You know what I mean? I think y'all are the coolest people on this show. I think y'all Jet fans keep the show going. Gator, you know what I mean? Shout out to him and his creativity, you know what I mean? And like I said, to the one person that I hate and despise the most is Peanut Head, because Peanut Head is he is the Grinch that stole Christmas, man. You know what I mean?
I see.
By people all enjoying Christmas, this Peanut Head in the background, taking the tree away, the presents away, you know what I mean? Taking the presents from the 2-year-old kids, you know what I mean? He's the guy that steals Christmas from kids, you know what I mean? Trust me, I know them guys.
Who do you dislike more, Allen or Dave Brigger?
No, Dave Brigger has been through it the worst, so I'm gonna give him a pass. You know what I mean? I'm sure he means no harm, but I'm gonna have to say Peanut Head, because Peanut Head is like that guy that you just use as a punching bag. Like Peanut Head has just a punchable face. Like thank God he doesn't live near me, man, because it would get ugly real quick.
So if you saw Allen, what would you do to him?
I would crush him. I would destroy him. Trust me.
On the spot?
On the spot. He's gonna have to be in a coma. You know me. Trust me.
Really?
Like yes. Like Peanut Head won't. These ants, he will not survive.
Would you go to jail for that?
Hell, I don't care. I go to hell. I don't care if I go to jail. You know what I mean? I go to St. Quentin. You know what I mean? If all I kill. As long as I put Peanut Head in his place. You know what I mean? Peanut Head needs a lesson. You know what I mean? And I just can't stand that guy.
So what you're telling me is you'd be willing to go to jail if you could put Allen in a coma first.
Yes. As long as someone get to him, gets inside his head, you know what I mean, and so someone straightens him out and teach him a lesson. Hell yeah, I'd go to, you know what I mean. I can do sometime.
Green Truth Dave says, B-Mac, you would not survive in jail. You're not built for it.
I'm built for jail. You know what I mean? I'm built for prison, man. I'm built. You know what I mean? I got a couple of friends in that I went to jail. You know what I mean? I actually visited jail. I went on a jail tour once, and I would do just fine. Trust me.
How would you know you're built for jail just because you've been to a jail?
Well, I think I can defend myself. You know what I mean? See, when you go to jail, do not show weakness. Do never show weakness when you're in jail, because because those guys will eat you up alive. You know, you always want to show toughness. Hell, even if you can take a punch and get beat up, you know what I mean. Show them that you are mentally tough and healing, and that you can take blows. And usually, if I go to jail, I have like a shank, just in case. You know what I mean? Someone attacks you. You take a shake to shake them. Do like a mixed martial arts counter move, shake them right in the neck. That's what I would do.
All right, now, so you see Alan on the spot. You're throwing hands with him. Give us an idea what it looks like. We have some boxing experts that tune into the show. Gary being one of them, of course. Give us the breakdown here. What does it look like?
All right, so I used to be a boxer. I used to take boxing lessons. You know what I mean? And I first of all, I would start with my jabs. You know what I mean? Usually the jabs. You use your jabs so you can set up the big right hook. You know what I mean? So I will lead with my jabs first. First of all, I want to get inside his head. Get inside his head. You know what I mean? Make Peanut Head frustrated. That's what I would do. I'm gonna make him frustrated. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that way, and I want Peanut Head to swing first and get all his energy out. That way he gets tired at the end.
I thought you were attacking him first, though. Now you want him to swing first.
No, I want him to swing first, and then that way I can have his, I can, that way his energy is going to be low.
What if he says he doesn't want to fight? Then he's not going to swing first.
Well, first of all, if he doesn't want to fight me, then that means he's a pussy. I mean, if he has some cojones to get in a boxing ring with me, you know what I mean? But I will, defense first, you know what I mean? Absorb the energy, wear him out, slow him down, and then boom, 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 boom. And then I call him with the elbow, you know what I mean, for a nice good measure.
I see. All right, well, let's bring in the expert right now.
Knockouts don't matter if you land enough jabs. You can do a music first.
Gary?
You don't have to swing first. You can just try to put someone in a coma and get in their face. And if you do that to me, you're going down. And I'm a non-violent person at this point in my life. But if you said you're going to put me in a coma and then you get in my bubble, you're going down. You don't have to swing first. I'll swing first. You're gonna put Does anyone ever stop you from doing that? Like this, the problem why people speak recklessly like that is because no one ever does anything about it. Like I promise you, if you said that to me, it would be a different story.
No. Well, first of all, Gary, I would never say that to you because I'm cool with you.
I appreciate that.
Me and you are friends. You know what I mean? I'm not cool with Peanut Head, so that's why me and Peanut Head have to get into it. But I would say this: how's your boy Jameis Winston? Do you still want Jameis as a bridge next year? Because he's been looking terrible, man. Yes,
he throws for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he looks terrible. Only good. You look at the list of quarterbacks who've ever thrown for 5,000 yards.
I want boxing conversation, not Jameis Winston.
First of all, Gary, stats can be misleading sometimes. You know what I mean? If Jameis Winston was such a great quarterback, how come Tampa Bay replaced him with the greatest quarterback of all time?
Boxing,
with Tom
punching, Allen. B-Mac. That's the
Yeah.
conversation. Gary, I need your analysis on B-Mac's approach. Go ahead.
First of all, you said you throw a right hook. You don't hook your backhand. You hook your lead hand. Your backhand is reserved for straight punch. You want to keep those straight so he stays off of you and generate the most power. The power on your right hand is at the end of your punches. Because you don't hook your right hand. Your right hand is straight
I'm a
down the pipe.
southpaw.
Oh, you are southpaw.
Yeah.
Oh, you are. Oh, okay. Then yeah. Then lead with the right hook. Then that's fine.
What do you think, Gary? Do you think Allen would have a chance against B-Mac?
Handicapping it. What is Allen got? At least 20 years on him. How old are you, B-Mac? You're in your 20s? 30?
I'm 30. 30.
He's 20 years younger than Allen. Yeah, I don't see B-Mac as a ferocious hitter, but I mean, I'm gonna take the guy who's 20 years younger, who's 30. I've been 30. I'm 40 now. I can't imagine what I'm doing.
The older you get, the slower you become. The younger you are, the faster. The more
that is for sure a fact. So, yeah, if I had to handicap the fight, I would make the guy 20 years younger. It's not like Allen is some trained craftsman in the ring. So yeah, I would favor the 30-year. Who would you bet on an even money fight, Jake? Who would you bet? B-Mac or
well, I'd be rooting for
Allen.
B-Mac, but I can't make my determination yet until I get your breakdown, Gary, of B-Mac's punches and jabs. What did you think of that?
It was okay. I mean, it's no worse than Jake Paul. I can say that. I could train B-Mac for two lessons, 2 days. Give me 2 days, and I can make him a better boxer than Jake Paul.
Gary,
you gave me 2 days with him.
Gary, do you watch the UFC? Because I'm a big fan of the UFC mixed martial.
I don't watch much UFC. Occasionally, once in a while, but not very often.
Oh, yeah. That I'm more of a fan of because you can do everything: wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, boxing, takedowns.
So it's more
B-Mac. Hey, you hater guy, Allen sucks, and JJ can kiss my ass before I wipe.
Man, he just wouldn't stay on topic. We had no choice.
I know. I wanted to hear a strategy too. He said he took boxing lessons or something like that. Is that what he said?
To be continued, this storyline. There's no doubt.
And he's a southpaw?
That's what he said.
I like/hate southpaws. Like if you were to say, "Gary, I'm going to give you a fighter," what would be the first weapon you would give him? I'd make him a southpaw. But flip that around, it's because I hate fighting southpaws. Always did. Like if you gave me a full camp, 6 weeks, prepare for a southpaw, you just drill it. Okay, you can do it, but I still hated it. If you said like in amateurs, Monday you're fighting a conventional guy, Tuesday you're fighting a conventional guy, you won that. Now Thursday you're fighting a southpaw. I hated that. Everything is backwards. Everything. So that is a gift, and you see that a lot of naturally right-handed fighters will, like Bam Rodriguez, will train to fight southpaw because it is such a massive advantage, especially as an amateur.
A couple super chats here. Georgie threw a bunch of tomatoes during the BMAC call there. So we'll get to that one. Brian, I see your super chat. We'll get to it coming up. But Gary, you called in, I'm assuming, to make a point on the Jets. So I don't want to not give you the opportunity to make that point because I brought you on early with BMAC there. So go ahead.
Did you like Rocky? Rocky was a southpaw. He was. That's true. Yeah, the Rodgers thing, like, first you guys are saying he's been an average quarterback. To be fair, he's been a below average quarterback. Like, he's 23rd in QBR, which look, it's not the gospel, but it's indicative. Like Allen is 1, Lamar Jackson is 2, Joe Burrow is 3. It's indicative of how you play. QBR is a stat that's indicative of how you play. He's 23rd. He's below Jameis Winston. Like, just to be fair, he's been below average. He hasn't been horrible. He's better than Boyle. He's better than Trevor Siemian. I get that.
Well, the pushback to that would be, what would he be if he was healthy, right? You know, that's what the Roger truthers are going to argue. What would he be if he was healthy? Here's the last 7 games. I'd say he's been probably healthy for the last 3, and even when he wasn't fully healthy, he did enough against New England. They blew that game. He did enough against Indy. They blew that game before the bye. So that's the argument you're fighting here.
Fine. And I remember Charles Barkley saying this when he was with Houston at the end of his career, saying, if I just have one more healthy season, we can make it run. And it dawned on him, like, I'm not going to have any more healthy seasons. Like, it's this or worse every year. Like, I'm not going to get healthy again. Like, Rodgers is going to be 41 and turning 42 next year. It's not going to get better. Like, I was hyped for Rodgers. I said he was going to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. I was wrong. He's not. He's done. He's shot. Like, it's over. It's time to move on. And if money was no issue, if all money was the same and you really wanted to bring him back for one more year, it's not the worst decision in the world. I just don't really see the upside in it. And how that money is a factor, it doesn't make any sense to pay him in 2026. And what would the cap hit be in 2026?
The cap hit would be, if he's not on the team in 2026, $63 million.
Just you can't bring him back. Like if money was no factor, we can have this conversation.
I think he needs to take a pay cut to be back. I think that's where this conversation's headed. How badly does he want to be back with the Jets? If he wants to play with Devontae, there's a path to it. If he takes a pay cut, Devontae stays, all that. But I also want to see how these final 3 games go. Like, he looked great yesterday. The Jaguars suck. They're the 32nd ranked defense. So I'm open to Rodgers being back, but I'm not as like gung-ho as some people are.
Look, he already took. If he wants to take a pay cut, the same thing I said about Jalen Brunson. I think you're crazy, but you're entitled to do that. If he wants to take a pay cut, he can. But he already took a pay cut, didn't he? I mean, why are you taking another? He's not your charity case.
Well,
why
because he might not. He might not have options to play elsewhere if he doesn't. Like, he might be shut out. Like, what team's giving him a starting spot next year right now?
That should be indicative of where he is in the league. Like, if no other team is giving him a chance to start, there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, but think about it. There's a lot that comes with bringing in Aaron Rodgers. And how long it takes for him to seemingly get on the same page now with his receivers, and what type of offense are you running, and who's the coach? Like, it's it's more than just like no other team wants him, so that means he's not good anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a very set of unique circumstances to have Aaron Rodgers on your team.
The other thing that's going to really be the tell-all is who the GM and who the head coach is, right? Like, who's the GM, who's the head coach? If you bring in a young head coach, I'm thinking a young head coach is going to want to just start this from. It's not really starting it from scratch because you do have talent, but he's going to want to bring in a young quarterback and he's going to want to rebuild. If you bring in a veteran head coach may want to look at this and say,
but where's the young quarterback?
I can win with Rodgers.
See, like, that's the thing. In theory, I agree with you, right? You bring in a coach, he's going to want their own young quarterback. They all do. But the Jets are not in position to seemingly get that guy right now. The draft is not the answer. The free agents out there, unless you're telling me Darnold's coming back, which I think is highly unlikely, that's not happening. So, like, they might want a young quarterback, but they might have to wait a year. It's almost like the Giants with Daniel Jones. Now, it's a little different because Jones is obviously a lot younger, but Brian Dable inherited Daniel Jones. He was going to get him for the year, and then seemingly when it didn't work out, they were going to pick their quarterback. The problem was they won too many games in year one, won a playoff game. They had to keep Jones. But the Jets can almost be following the Giant model from the standpoint of you try it with Rodgers for a year because you have no better option. You see what happens. Maybe you make the playoffs, but you already know it's not a long-term thing. You know it's a 1 year, at best 2, but I doubt it. It's like it's a 1 year thing. You try it. If it doesn't work, you have a quarterback either sitting behind him you drafted on in the second round, or you're getting your quarterback in 26 and you give assurances to the guy you hire. Hey, you get to pick your quarterback. We're not, win or lose. We're not basing this 1 year on, we're not holding it against you, so to speak.
Like, if you bring in a good head coach, you could be decent this year. Like, let's say you could go 10-7. But then you got to rip the whole thing down again after that because then Rodgers is really gone. I don't think you're going 10-7 next year. Like, you're 4-10 this year. Like, that is a drastic increase. But we see it in football. It's the one sport where you can go from worst to first. You don't see it in baseball. You sure as hell don't see it in basketball unless you add LeBron James.
You see it every year. Like, you can't paint the picture the Jets are this year's Chargers next year?
They have a young quarterback. We have an old quarterback.
They do.
It could happen.
But like the Jet roster is better than the Chargers roster. That's what we're saying. I think so much of this is a coaching problem and a kicking problem that cost some games.
You think about the amount of games the kicking did, even despite the defense underperforming. If they just hit field goals,
I think we all agree they're better than. I think we all agree. We've seen bad Jets teams before. They're bad from a record standpoint, but they're not as bad as what the record indicates. Like, no one's saying this is a Super Bowl team, but they shouldn't be 4-10. So that's the argument for the Rodgers people, and I get it because he has not played bad to a point where he's why they're 4-10. He's played well enough. Miami last week, another great example of this, where it's like Come on, man. They shouldn't be 4-10 with this quarterback and the talent they still do have on this roster.
I agree. He's not the reason why he's 4-10, but he also hasn't gone out there. And I thought I thought more of him than it seems like the rest of you did. I thought he'd be able to go out there and in the fourth quarter just go out and win you games, right? Not lose you games, but actually win you games. Score, down but 2 scores. He scores 2 touchdowns.
100%. 100%. I thought he'd be better than he has been, but I'm just trying to be fair to Rodgers and the people who want him back. He gave them the lead late against Indy. The defense blew it. He gave them the lead late against Miami. The defense blew it. He gave them the lead late against New England when he led them down the field and they scored a touchdown, and the defense blew it. It's not like he's never come through in the fourth quarter giving them a lead late. That's why I think, the guy who dug these stats together over the last 7 games, he did a good job of kind of encapsulating that, right? The Jets had the lead with under a minute to go in 5 of their last 7 games, and they're 2-5 over their last 7, despite averaging 22.4 points per game,
I knew this was going to happen, right? If we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, there's no conversation to be had. We're moving on.
For sure.
I know he's going to play so well now that this is a real conversation.
But I rather this, right?
Yeah.
I rather this. And you still have 3 more games of getting evidence. And this week I think is important because you're back in the cold. You're not in the warm down in Florida. And let's see how he looks. And you get a chance to see what he looks like against a team in the Rams that needs the game desperately for their playoff hopes. So they're going to bring it. Buffalo's going to need the game too for seeding. These next 2 weeks, I think, tell us a lot about Aaron Rodgers. I think even if you're anti-Rodgers coming back, if he plays well these next 2 games, I think the people on the fence are going to start leaning towards bringing him back. I do think that is a possible scenario that plays itself out.
No, if the Jets win one of these games, if the Jets beat either Buffalo or Miami, and Rodgers is one of the reasons why, you're going to hear a lot more of this. And I understand the argument. I just don't think it makes economic sense. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. And
if he takes a pay cut, it might, though. That's the one thing I'll say. If he does.
Let's see. If you were him, would you take another pay cut? You just took a pay cut. Would you take another one?
So, look, he's made more money than any NFL player in NFL history.
Ever.
Right? Ever.
Yeah.
He makes a ton of money off the field. We know this, right? He's got the Netflix documentary. He gets paid $1 million a year from McAfee. He's got Adidas and other sponsors, right? It's not about money for him. He clearly loves playing football. He loves playing with Devontae Adams. He has said if he plays next year, his first choice is to play for the Jets. He doesn't look like a guy that wants to retire. So maybe if they hired a Mike Vrabel, I'll use him as an example, he would take less to mitigate the dead cap concerns after this year and stick around for another year. If it's a package deal, hey, I'm taking less so you could pay Devontae, I think he might. I wouldn't kill him if he's like, F that, I'm not doing it. But I also think if he wants to be here next year, his best way to ensure that would be to be willing to take a pay cut again.
Yeah, and it's not trying to sound like Wall Street, but how many yachts can he really jet ski behind? I mean, he's made $400 million with more guaranteed. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any kids. It's just him. It's not like he's leaving his legacy to anyone. So if I've made enough money, and he has. I mean, he paid $400. You can't spend that in a lifetime. So if he wants to take the pay cut, I guess it's like Jalen Brunson. I made that. I was like, he's never gotten paid. He's always been underpaid. Since the day he got in the league, he's been underpaid, and he still took a pay cut. Rodgers has made a ton of money. Like I said, I think $350 or $400 million in his career with more guaranteed. Yeah, I mean, perhaps he takes a pay if he really wants to stay. If he takes a pay cut, a substantial pay cut, then this is a totally different conversation.
I think if he's back next year, Gary, he almost would have to, honestly, because I can't see a new GM wanting to deal with the dead cap in 2026 if he's here. I think that's the only way. For those who want Rodgers back, and I'm open to it. I'm not going to shoot it down. I don't think anyone's ridiculous for feeling that way. I think he would have to take another pay cut because I'm looking now, let's see, career earnings in his lifetime. I know for a fact he's made more than any NFL player ever in on-field earnings. He has made $380.6 million in his career. He's got plenty of money. If he's coming back, he's not playing for money. He's coming back because he loves football and he'd want to play with Devontae. And I think that's how you sell him on coming back. Devontae's here. You take less. You help us out. We'll keep your guy Devontae. We're going to get a real coach. Hey, Aaron, we're going to be up front with you. We're probably going to draft a quarterback in the first round or the second round. That's going to sit. And if we fall out of it, that guy's going to play. But we're doing everything to try and win next year with you because we think there's talent on this team. And you're still playing at a high enough level where we can be a playoff team next year.
If you think this is a playoff team and you think that he can play the way he's played these last few weeks, and he's willing to take a pay cut, if you could do all those things, then bringing him back is not.
It's a lot of things that have to happen, and there's still 3 games to go. He could suck this week, and it's gonna be like, what are we talking about? But I'm just saying, it's not crazy to have the conversation when 3 weeks ago, it felt ridiculous. But we all can acknowledge he's played very well the last 2 weeks. Like, we're all Jet fans. We're used to shit at the position. He's played at an elite level these last 2 games. We cannot deny that.
And I just want to address that. I'll put the link in the private chat. Winston, I'm not arguing for Winston. I'm just being factual. Winston has a higher QBR than Rodgers. Just I put it in the private chat.
Rodgers' QBR is 10 points higher.
Just so you know, Winston's QBR is 56. Rodgers is 53.9.
How many games has Winston even started? I don't even know.
He started a bunch now. How many did he start? Let me see. One, two, three, four, five, 7. And then he started 7 and came in the 8th. So he started 7 games now.
Yeah, smaller sample size, but we'll see. I mean, Aaron's has looked better. Dre with a super chat. Gary needs to take a pay cut for his Reddick and Winston takes.
I tried to defend Reddick, but I'm always going to defend the player who puts his life and his well-being on the line for my entertainment over some fat guy in the front office. Always. I'm always going to try to defend the player. It got to the point where I was like, this is really indefensible anymore.
Hey, by the way, how good is Devontae? And what's his name? Amari Cooper has done next to nothing for Buffalo.
Devontae Adams is good. Someone asked me, Black Gypsy said, is Devontae Adams a threat? I said, unquestionably. He's one of the great receivers of all time. When he's done, he goes to the Hall of Fame. I would imagine statistically he does. So I've never criticized Devontae Adams as a player. Just like I've never criticized Garrett Wilson as a player. Matter of fact, I've defended Garrett Wilson as a player. Did I ever say that Devontae Adams is not good at football ever?
I don't know what you said.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Did you see? I was thinking of you yesterday though. Did you see what Devontae said in his post game? What he had for the pregame snack?
No.
Really?
I can talk about the carnivore diet all day. This is starting to get a little bit much.
Can you do me a favor? Can you not spend hours arguing about it in the Discord? I can't read it anymore.
I don't spend hours. I just put the comment in and it's a feeding frenzy.
I'm gonna start shadow realming Discord people that are discussing butter. I can't do it.
All right. I was gonna put there's a girl on Instagram, whatever. She was a Juilliard pianist, however you say that.
A what?
And pianist? How do you say that word? Pianist, right?
I don't know what you're saying.
But all she eats is steak and butter, and like she has like a whole body transformation thing. I was gonna put it in the Discord, but like, I'll lay off. I'll lay off. Enough. Let sleeping dogs lie sometimes.
You're negatively influencing Bobby Midnight, though. That's not good.
I'm positively. So his he can walk again. His feet feel better, and he's losing weight. How is that negative? Like, what's one of those things? The same thing with Metro Funny. Metro Funny lost 40 pounds in a month and is no longer pre-diabetic because of my advice. They had to do it. I'm not taking credit for it, but the advice I given them.
Bobby is eating 7 sticks of butter a day. That's not good for the diet.
7 sticks of butter a day. I don't think he's eating 7 sticks of butter a day.
It's not good for the diet to have that many butter sticks. Would you agree?
Look, 7. Like, yeah, that's just too much food, right? Like, it's like if I ate 20 pounds of steak, is that good? No. Well, you said steak is good. Like, okay, like 7 sticks, it would be, yes, that would be too many. 1 stick, a stick a day keeps the doctor away, would be good. 7 is too many of anything. 7?
What a take here from Peter Castro. Bobby burped and loses 3 pounds.
I mean, okay, you guys are going to mock his weight loss. Yes, obviously he's overweight.
Nate says Bobby would be feeling better without butter too. It's not the butter, says Nate.
It's not the butter. It is and it isn't, right? It's what he's not. You have to eat something. You have to have nourishment. Right? Butter and steak, red meat, are two of the most nutrient-dense things you can eat. So what you're not eating, what are you eating? Like, there's got to be a game plan to what you're eating. If you're just shoving food in your mouth because it tastes good, you're going to end up 70 pounds overweight. If you just eat the traditional American diet kind of thing, kind of eat what's presented to you, you're going to be 70 pounds overweight. Like, there has to be a game plan. I compare it to like boxing in the amateurs. It's 3 rounds. Just try to score as many shots as you can. In the pros, that doesn't work. Everything needs to set something else up. There's got to be a game plan for every punch you throw, right? Because I got 12 rounds here. I got to break this guy down. It's not just flurry and try to win the rounds on the scorecards. There's got to be more of a game plan, and that's how I view eating. If you just eat what's presented to you, you're going to be disease-ridden, you're going to be morbidly obese, and you're going to have diabetes. It has to be a plan to what you're eating.
I think I have a pretty good diet. I have a good plan.
Jake, you eat Chipotle every day, which was made news for having forever chemicals, including phthalates, which is used to make plastic more bendy.
Not true. I had chicken parm and spicy rigatoni last night.
The chicken is good, and the mozzarella on the chicken is good. Everything else on that is not good for you. Look, I like pasta as much as anybody. I love pasta. Really not good for you.
Gary, thank you for the time.
All right.
I want that off right now. Gator, get that off. I don't want that on right now, okay? I hate that one. I hate it. Get it off. You, if you're gonna play that, you're gonna pay me, okay? Buster Brown, if you're playing that, you're gonna.
You're coming at guns blazing. Damn.
Well, I don't like that. You never showed me that to play. No,
I just got it sent to me. It was new.
Well, from Gator.
From a mysterious man.
What? No, shut up. It's Gator. Gator, get on here.
Yeah, Gator, explain yourself.
Gator, get in here. I'm sick of you putting shit up about me all the fucking time.
Whoa. Language, Bob. Language.
Oh, shut up. You let firemen there. You let every
Yeah, but they're guests. Calm down.
No, you
and
let
they don't do
other-
it as often as you do. You call every show.
I don't
They're on once a week.
No, you let other callers call it and say the F word. You never put that thing up.
But you call every day. We're trying to police the language around here.
Well, I don't curse every day.
Why don't you like the butter clip? We made one for Gary. He laughed.
I don't like that one. First of all, I don't eat 7 sticks of butter. When I cook, I use a stick of butter each time I cook the meat. So that is wrong. You told Gary the wrong thing.
Gator writes in butter.
Oh, shut up, Gator. Why don't you eat some butter yourself? Put it on your head so you get a suntan on that head of yours.
That's no ghost. Says 7 sticks of butter at midnight.
I don't eat 7. Oh, my God. Okay, I defended myself.
Gator says my crowning achievement. It looks like Gator is doubling down on his video here.
Well, I need money for that video if you're going to play that.
All right, let's negotiate, Bob. How much are you looking for?
I'm looking for 50 this time.
$50?
Yep, I already 50.
That's more than I make in a month.
Well, that's bullshit.
How do you know? You don't know my finances.
Yesterday I saw all the money you made yesterday. You got plenty of money.
I have it all right here, Bobby. Oh yeah, I'm just fanning myself.
Yesterday I saw all the money you got.
Yeah.
I want $50. If you don't stop paying that, I want $50.
$50.
Yep.
That seems a little outrageous.
No, it does not.
$50 for a 7-second video of your head on someone yelling butter seems a little absurd.
Well, no. Okay, 40. How's 40?
40 is a lot of money too. $20 a video?
I'm not going back to 20. No, I already got screwed up with the other one. So
Jake Quest says, Bobby, don't extort Jake. I feel like you're extorting me.
Goodbye.
Am I not being extorted here? I think I am. Wow. This show took quite the turn. You see what you did, Gator? Unbelievable. More of your calls right now. Philly Noodles is next. Hey, Philly.
Yo, as soon as extortion became the topic, he was out of there.
I feel attacked. Now, maybe I could raise some money for Bobby right now. Gator says, I'll chip in $5 to the butter clip. All right, I can match Gator's 5. So, Bobby, we've raised you $10 so far.
You incriminated him when he was out. A little tidbit for fantasy news. David Montgomery just tore his MCL.
I saw that. Yeah, the Lions have a ton of injuries. There's no doubt.
That sucks. Yeah, I was in a call to talk about Rodgers. Listen, the pay cut's got to be there. If it's not there, you keep it moving. I just feel bad for a new regime walking in, even lingering 1 year of this. It was supposed to be solid cut, Douglas cut it all. Now it's like, well, cut, but don't cut this because, it's the only competent thing we got going.
Well, but he might give you your best chance to win next year if you're in your coaching staff.
So the only thing I have in fear is what Peter Castro said. I said it earlier. He's reverberating what I said. He's got to take on the Rams with that kid Fisk and that other kid, that other defensive end or tackle. He's going to get chased around the yard these next 3 games, and especially the next 2. And I'm talking about they should have been sitting people. If you were so convinced about Aaron Rodgers, you would sit him if you thought you would take him for next year because he could detrimentally hurt himself. I mean, Breece Hall should be sitting right now. He might get his MCL blown up. His knee's sensitive.
He shouldn't be playing because he doesn't look right to me, and I don't see the point. But that's the problem with this inept coaching staff. Look, I understand your concerns about these next 2 games, Philly, but let's see how he plays. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
I need him to play well against better competition and not just the 32nd ranked defense to entertain the idea of him coming back.
For sure. I just think they're sensitive, man. If let's say he really fully tears a hamstring or something, listen, knock on wood, but legitimately, let's say he really injures himself trying to prove I can come back. I guess then the writing's on the wall. It's over. Cut it loose, right?
If he gets hurt and suffers, it is what it is. Yeah. But he wants to play 17 games. He's not benching himself, nor should he. Coming off 2 really good games in a row. Let's see.
Yeah, and Benigno's take earlier was funny. I know I wrote what I wrote in. It's like we can't sit there as an organization and say, as fan base, we need to end the 4-year strife of not making the playoffs, and then say, well, what if Lawrence would have brought us to the playoffs? What do you want? We want a full revitalization of the whole shebang, the whole thing going forward for the future. Sometimes that takes the whole thing getting blown up again. So it is what it is. I'm just interested. I'm happy that Sauce got that pick. I wonder where the Jerry Jones stat line is now for his draft pick. What's his analysis now? He's worth 5 picks for the first round draft for those people who want to get rid of him. The Sauce for his pick, his interception. He's worth 5 first rounds now. We should get that New York Ted, Florida guy in here. See what he thinks.
He was on hold before, and I was going to go to him, and then he dropped off.
Oh, wow. I mean, it would have just went at it because I would have been like, well, he's worth 5 picks now, right? So,
hey, Potster Ted, call back in, baby.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
All right, Philly. Good call, man.
All right, man.
Rob B says, Bobby's just as much as a capitalist as anyone. I definitely think we can compensate Bobby, but $50 for that video, I don't know. Gary, you're featured in the video. What are your thoughts on Bobby asking for some compensation?
I always say if you believe in yourself, take a percentage of the profits, not a flat fee. The flat fee is set in stone. If I take a percentage of it and I believe that what I put out is good, it's going to pay me for the rest of my life. So take a flat fee. Don't take a flat fee, Bobby. Don't take $40. Don't take $50. Take a percentage of it.
How would we calculate that, though? Because it's just a video that plays for 5 seconds on the show.
That's a great question, but we can get lawyers and accountants involved, and we can figure that out. We can figure that out.
There's a lot of work going into a video that is 7 seconds long.
It's a classic 7 seconds, though, right? I mean, I've watched P.D. Alonso's home run off of Your New Closer probably 500 times. Count up all the YouTube views, that's a decent amount of money. That's only a couple seconds. Congratulations on the new closer, though.
I mean, he's one of the 3 best in baseball, so I'm very happy. So great.
That moment is linked to him.
You know what? Gator does bring up a pretty good counterpoint here, though. Bobby may need to start paying Gator for all the videos on his channel. Maybe starting with the Noel Chick video. I'm looking for 120. It's a great point. It's a great point by Gator.
Deal. Gator does good work. 120 is a good deal. I think Gator might be underselling himself a little bit there.
Now, Bobby, call back if you're still watching, because I do wonder maybe if Gator calls it even for all the videos he's done for your show, maybe we could have a truce here.
No, don't take it. Take the flat fee. You can work out a payment arrangement with Gator, but take the percentage of Jake.
I mean,
Take
if
the
people
percentage of
only
that
knew
video.
how much work Gator has done for the Bobby Midnight channel. It's a great point.
I think, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Gator's selling himself a little short there with 120. I think he could ask for a lot more.
I'll tell you, Gator's definitely worth a lot more than $120.
Agreed.
I mean, how many people could make this video in the first place?
I thought you were gonna play the other one where the guy's putting the butter.
Gary, appreciate it. Good insights.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you.
All right, a couple minutes left of this one. Let's say hello to the great David T. What's up, David?
Hi, Jake. Boy, what a great show today, as always. But I was on hold, and I even had to go in and grab a quick shower. And when I came back out, you're still on.
Yeah, the Monday shows are always long, but after our first win on a Sunday since week 2, this is approaching a 3-hour show, and we still got another long show later.
Yeah, I feel I don't know if you feel the same way, but after the Jets win, no matter what the record, everybody, except the tankers, they're we're feeling a lot lighter and happier today.
100%. Nice to see a win, David. Right? I mean, you saw the game.
Yes, sir. And okay, just a couple real quick points. I'm actually taking my dog out for a walk right now, and then I got to go to work later. But the Goomba, the name Goomba,
yeah.
I was brought up Italian. That's not thrown around too much, and it is anybody can be a Goomba, but you have to be a really good person and almost considered like a family member. So I'm sure the Italian guys on your show and myself, if I could, we consider you a.
I'll take it, David. It's an honor.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as Sauce Gardner, I think it's silliness to even consider trading him. And let me see here. What else was I going to say? Oh, as far as the pasta and chicken, my dad, again, getting back to Italian, my dad used to throw everything in the sauce. Chicken wings, pepperoni, beef cubes. Yeah, I don't know that butter went in spaghetti sauce. I think sugar did, but I'm not sure about butter. Yeah, and I listened about the whole butter thing, and my thought was my mother used to talk about, when they were growing up, grandmom used to cook with lard. And the stuff that they had to eat. I mean, they were poor, and my uncles were hunters and everything, and they had to eat what was on the table, and they all grew up. She used to say we all grew up to live relatively long lives, So I don't know, but the other thing is it is fascinating about Aaron Rodgers, and it seems like everybody's bringing up good points, like with the money, the next 3 games, is he going to remain, God forbid, nothing, injury wise would happen that would lead him into next year. But I hear him on these interviews, and I think he's in a really good place, because the last one that I heard, and I'll let you go, the last one that I heard was he would like to come back to the Jets next year if they have him, and if they don't, he would have no hard feelings whatsoever. So I mean, there's really something to be said for that.
David, enjoy the walk with your dog. An excellent call.
All right, it's a beautiful day down here in Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great David T checking in. Tremendous. Hit the like button, and please, if you're one of the 500 people still watching, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It is free, and it is easy, and helps us continue to grow.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
First on my show, I told Gator I will pay for him to help me out. Oh no, I don't need any money. So that's not true, Gator. I offered to pay you, so don't tell me I never offered to pay you. Okay? Does Jake offer to pay you? I bet not.
I pay Gator. That's not true.
Oh, you do pay Gator?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I offered to. He said no.
Well, I mean, Gator does a lot more for my show than he does for you, to be fair.
Yeah, but I offered to pay for him. Okay. Well, that's my saying bye.
Well, hold on. Why don't we get to the bottom of this then?
No, why? Gator's on here.
Well, no. But Gator said $120 for all the work he does. You wanted $50 for the most recent butter video. What if we just drop it completely and everyone's squared away?
No, I want that video off. I don't want that video. That's it.
All right. Well, let's negotiate then. All right.
No.
How about $25 for the rights to play the video?
No. Yeah, I gave you 20 for the P video. So.
Yeah. So now you're getting a raise for a video that's even shorter.
No, I don't like that one. I'd rather see the P video. I like the P video better.
Why do you like the P video? People can see
funny.
you dropping your pants.
It's funny.
I would argue the butter video is pretty funny too.
No, I don't like it.
How about $30?
Maybe 40.
Nah, that's out of my price range.
Okay, well, don't play it then.
I won't, or will I?
Okay, bye.
Are you going to sue me? What do I do if I play it? Not. He's gone. That's it. Man. Gator writes in, need the butter video in the open. We have butter midnight. Bobby, I think you opened the door here for Gator to go completely off. I'd be careful. The chat seems to be split on this. Some are calling Bobby Blackmail Bobby. The great Boomtown wrote Bobby Extortion Midnight. Great villain name. Incredible. Connor writes, and I think $32.50 would get the deal done. Bobby, I'm willing to go up to $32.50 right now to get the deal done. Yes or no? Hector says, damn, we're still here. 2+ hours. 3. Nate writes in, take the $32.50. Bobby, call back right now. $32.50. Deal or no deal? Richard from Jersey says, Bobby acting like a punk. Nate says, you could fill a car 5 times in Brattleboro with $32.50. Fair point. Boomtown says, throw in a stick of butter to close the deal. $32.50, Bobby. A stick of butter to close the deal. That's pretty enticing. That's pretty enticing. Green Truth Dave says, Bobby is a little sensitive. TB says, Bobby needs a new orange chair. Boomtown says, Bobby, take the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now to potentially close the deal is...
Oh, no.
I take 35. That's my final offer.
35.
Yep. 32.50, 35.
You know what, Bobby? You got a deal.
Okay, that's good. I'm
Shake
happy
on it.
now.
Shake on it.
Okay, where am I? Okay.
There we go.
No,
Say
I can't. My camera's up there.
No, there you go.
Okay, I went 5 more. I got what I wanted.
There you go. You made a great deal. How do you feel?
Yes, not like 20. I should have went up more for the other one, but I think the other one's funnier than this stupid ass one Gator made. Gator, I already told you I would pay you. You don't want to get paid, so don't bring my name up that you should pay me $20. I offered you, you turned it down. So don't get on my ass for that. Okay.
Tom A says great negotiation skills.
I tried, Tom. I lost.
Jay writes in, great deal, Bobby.
Thank you, Jay. I love you.
TB, Bobby drives a hard bargain.
Oh, TB, I don't know. You go fly a kite, okay? Thank you.
I think he was complimenting you. That wasn't a negative.
Oh, I didn't know.
Good deal, sold. That's from Top Ace.
Yeah, well, it's a lot better than the 20 I got for the peanut. But
you got a bonus on that one too. You ended up making like $45 on that video.
Yeah, I think the peeing video is horrible. I meant the butter. I like the peeing better than the butter. That's what I should say. Okay, that's fine. You can play it. Okay.
Why are you so mad? You just made $35 for doing nothing. You woke up and got out of bed. You just became $35 richer.
Well, I don't like it. I told you to take it off, and I had to agree.
Dixon writes in, Bobby Snowflake Midnight.
Oh, Dixon. How you doing, Dixon? Why don't you go fly with your reindeer, Dixon? You're tripping.
Peter Castro writes in, the art of the deal.
Oh, Peter, thank you. I love you, too. Because he was a nice guy. Helped me out on my show.
Gator says he doesn't want your blood money.
Oh, shut up, Gator. Be quiet, Gator.
I think you and Gator have some real problems you guys have to work out.
Well, at least I don't want to chop on what Charles wanted to do the last time.
What now?
Remember what Charles wanted to do with Gator?
He wanted to put Gator's head on a spike?
Yeah, like a spike or something. I forgot.
Yep.
Well, Gator, you bring stuff up and then you don't want to. I told you I pay for you, but you don't, Okay, Jake, have a great day. I'll see you later.
All right, Bobby. Thanks for the time and congrats on making a great deal. Thank you very much, Mr. Bobby Midnight. Hey, a order has just arrived. I believe it's Philly Noodles. He used promo code JETSWIN, saved some money, and ordered himself a Jake Asman Show dog bandana. Thank you, Philly. Just got the notification. If you missed the announcement earlier, for those tuning in late, we are running a special sale right now. Promo code JETSWIN. You get 50% off all items in the merch store. How about that? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I have time for one last call. There's a guy on hold right now that is a controversial figure. Somehow he has escaped the hole. Alan joins us now. Hello, Alan.
I'm in the car.
I'm glad to be in Asman's Shadow Realm.
Into the Shadow Realm you go.
Aaron Rodgers is a glutton for fame. I don't think he loves his teammates. I think he loves attention.
GF what? First word is go and the last word is yourself. Boom.
You might have escaped the hole, Alan. But you ain't escaping the realm, baby. However, if you call back on the second show, maybe we'll allow you on. Anyway. You know what? Do we let him on? He's going like this on hold right now. Like, please let me make my point. But I don't like Alan. But I like entertainment. And sometimes, I won't lie, he can be entertaining. So, I'm just going to read the comments here. He'll have a very short leash. Do we give Alan a chance to talk? Man. I'm torn here. I'm torn. Enough people are saying yes, so I will go to Alan on a very short leash. Hello, Alan.
I'm in the car listening to B-Mac talking about how much he wants to shake me. I nearly rode off the road. I could not laugh. I don't know what's worse. when a little oppressed V-man is brandishing a gun towards me, or a moron from Massachusetts says he would go to jail to shank me. What is going on here? Jake, that shit was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. I swear to God.
Now, you were driving, but I encourage you to go back and watch BMAC. Basically,
no, I saw it.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't stop laughing. Oh my God, it was hilarious. But two other comments. First of all, Neil, don't be so sensitive, okay? Neil, you're gonna get some hate for some of your takes. Don't cry like a little bitch, okay? I get hate on all the time. Neil cried like a little bitch today, Jake. Come on, at least you admit it. And Bobby, next time you want a deal, come to me. I will negotiate for you. 35 is not enough. But again, B-Man.
What do you think a 7-second video is worth?
I think it's entertainment. I think he should get at least $40.
So you would have got him $5 extra, you think?
I would have. I would have gotten $5 extra from the beginning. I wouldn't have settled for 20. That fucking moron.
Whoa.
$40.
That's
$40.
Now you're going in on Bobby.
I love Bobby.
No, you don't. You just called Bobby. I hope you hear who your real friends are. You just called him an effing moron.
How do you not sit there when he says that he wants to shank me and just have that straight face? How? I know you don't like me. Shit was
well, I thought he brought up some good points, so I wanted to hear him out.
Oh my God, I nearly ran through 3 red lights listening to that. That shit was hilarious. And especially with Gary being his boxing expert, that was pretty funny as well. But again, I want to defend myself from earlier. When I got on the chat, people were killing me because of the Lions. So I was defending the team. Okay? They do have 14 defensive players on IR, and they just lost their running back for the season. So
go enjoy Lions Talk 24/7, Alan.
But again, Jake, shanking one week and a guy brandishing a gun the next week. God bless you, Jake. All the pleasure. Have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alan.
All of you delusional Jets fans need to know that I am the king of stupid town.
What a show, huh? What a show. JJ with our last super chat. Kellen Moore or Ben Johnson? A+ hires. Vrabel's my backup. Kellen Moore, I think they should definitely interview. I would lean with someone with experience before I'd go down the inexperienced route. Ben Johnson, I think, is, the exception because he'd be the top offensive guy. But, man, we got a lot of time. What a program. What a time to be alive. Thank you to everyone that watched. My name is Jake Asman. I see there were a couple comments being like, was Benigno on yet? Yeah, he was on the first hour. And we did 2 additional hours after that. So already 3 hours and counting. Parkinson joins us at 4. We're doing the raffle for the Rodgers jersey and the Super Bowl 3 photo. We're doing giveaways all month long as a thank you to the audience. So thank you all for your support. My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show on a Victory Monday for the first time since week 2 of the season. Jets winning a game on a Sunday, and we enjoy it on a Monday. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. And, of course, as you heard me just say it, we will be back at 4 p.m. to talk all things Jets with Will Parkinson. Have a good one, everybody.
Here it is. Little Victor Cruz dance. Oh, Victor. Woo. I'm doing a little salsa, baby. Yeah.